Lake Show back tonight after the All-Star break, taking on the Clippers at 7 o'clock. Lakers are 8.5-point favorites in that one. Clippers coming off a 1-point win over the Denver Nuggets last night. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Also on San Diego Sports 760, packed weekend. Tomorrow, you're going to hear San Diego State, Colorado State at 3 o'clock right here on the station. Schaefer gets you going at 3. Fletch gets you going pregame starting at 2. And SDFC season debut, year 2, taking on CF Montreal live from Snapdragon. SDFC is currently a minus 235 favorite in that one. Our coverage gets going at 6:30 with Adrian and Darren. Game starts at 7:30. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone with AutoZone.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Friday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer. Oh, not John Schaefer. Sammy Long is going to take over then from 2 to 3. Sammy Long and Brent Sperry. You ready for that?
I'm very excited. Brent and I are going to hold it down for 2 to 3. So hope everyone joins us.
That's going to be great. All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. We got a busy Friday for you. There's a possibility of some guests barging into the studio any second here. It was a long morning over on Big Rich, TD and Fletch on 101.5 KGB that just finished up about 15 minutes ago. So we'll see if they want to continue the party here on San Diego Sports 760. At 12:30, we got Derek Togerson, who's the voice of the San Diego Seals, who is in Peoria covering some Padres baseball. So we'll talk to Togs about a couple different things. At 1:30, Steve Hartman will be here for his weekly appearance here on San Diego Sports 760, and a possibility of another surprise guest here talking some SDFC. So we'll see. We got a lot to get to here over the next couple of hours. Text line is open, 70470. Start your message with team. YouTube is up at San Diego Sports 760. You can drop a comment there. We'd love to interact with you that way. We got a lot going on during our show today because the Padres are about to have first pitch of their spring training against the Mariners. We got that on one TV. Team USA is about to go up against Slovakia in hockey. We got a bunch of crazed Americans rushing into the arena right now.
Shout out to our support. Everyone's got some brews heading to the arena right now to set up that potential gold medal showdown Sunday against Canada. Come on, USA. Win this game against Slovakia and set up the matchup we've all been waiting for.
I watched essentially the entire Canada and Finland game this morning, and man, Finland just let it slip through their fingers. They had a 2-1 lead late. They got to 2-2, and then Canada was on power play for the entire final 2 minutes of that game, and were able to knock in the game winner. Chaos in the Olympics. It's actually been a ton of fun this year. So we'll see if Team USA can get to that gold medal match, which is coming up on Sunday. All right, we got a lot to do today. Sammy, where do we want to start exactly? I think we start with the Padres. I really do, as they take the field for the first time. And this is the time of year every year where I get reminded about how much I miss baseball, because it leaves, and in the Padres case over the last few years, it ends so suddenly in the postseason, and you're like, well, what the hell do we do now? Well, you wait, you look forward to spring training, you see the moves they make in the offseason, you start to stack them up with the NL West and where they go. But then we get here where hope springs eternal. And man, just like that, I'm excited about this Padres season, excited to see what happens today in Peoria. We got Dawn and Mud back in our lives on a daily basis. By the way, a ton of the games for the Padres spring training are going to be broadcast on MLB.tv, which we logged into here in studio. So I'm pumped, man. The grass is green. Peoria looks beautiful. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, I'm just excited. Baseball's back in. I do feel like with the Padres, we got into this yesterday. If the team is 100% healthy, I really like the Padres' chances. Not necessarily winning a World Series, but I think that being competitive in the playoffs, because you have the Dodgers and everybody else. But I think there's question marks about every other team. I would have the Dodgers, Mets, and then maybe Phillies, and then maybe I get to the Padres. If the Padres are 100% healthy going into the postseason, they have the recipe of a team that could do some damage. You have star hitters in Machado and Tatis, and Jackson Merrill, who we're presuming is going to take another step. You have an elite level bullpen and some top end level starters. I think my question off the top of the season is, a lot of teams look great on opening day, because if every team has their number one roster, they're going to look good. But I'm concerned with the amount of depth the Padres have, and this could change. I mean, this is why we're excited about Griffin Canning and Walker Buehler and German Marquez. If one of those guys pops for the Padres, it doesn't even have to be the new signings. I mean, this could be JP Sears. This could be Matt Waldron. This could be one of these guys that we're not really talking about. Maybe Randy Vasquez that starts that kind of 4th, 5th starter for the Padres. And if they become an elite level starter, then you look at 4 guys who could potentially do some serious damage in the postseason for the rotation for the Padres. But again, it's a long season. Just like last year, Yu Darvish got hurt. Michael King got hurt. If the Padres had their opening day roster going to the playoffs right now, I feel like they got a decent shot. I'm not going to lie. I'm concerned about the depth the Padres have going into the season.
And we'll see. That's what the moves were that AJ made just a week ago now. That's why he made those moves, was to add some depth to this team. We'll see if it works out. He's been pretty good at striking gold in the offseason before. All right, the other thing that comes with today is Craig Stammen making his first lineup card as the Padres manager. Here's how it goes. Xander Bogaerts leading off. Jackson Merrill batting second. Manny Machado batting third. Fernando Tatis Jr. fourth. Cronenworth, Castellanos, Campusanos, and Ty France making the lineup for the first day of spring. So you look at that, and that's a lot of the heavy hitters who are going to be playing day in and day out for the Padres. Now, this year is a little unique for the Padres because of the World Baseball Classic. Bogaerts, Machado, and Tatis are all going to be away from the team for a couple of weeks here coming up at the end of February, beginning of March. So they've said this publicly now that they want to get out there and get a bunch of training in during spring training. So expect to see a lot of these guys on the field to start the year. And just like that, Jackson Farrell Merrill is batting in the 2-hole for the Padres. The man who coined the phrase Jackson Farrell Merrill is here live and in living color. Travis Richard Dale. Hey, pal.
Your middle name's Richard?
Yeah, Richard. Yeah, Travis Dick Dale. Yeah, that's my initial spell turd.
His middle name is actually a descriptor of him as a human being.
That's right.
Hi, TD. That was a fun morning.
It was a fun morning. It's just wrapping up, actually, somehow.
What were you told me earlier, what were you sipping on this morning on Bar Cart Friday?
It was a Bar Cart Friday brought to you by Keg and Bottle. We were sipping on above board liqueur, flavored liqueur.
Things went below board today. Let me tell you what.
It did not stay above board.
No.
TD, what's your number one drink for people going into the weekend? This weekend, what are you drinking?
This after today,
cream liqueur.
Yeah,
all day.
Probably Gatorade,
electrolyte water.
Some Pedialyte is what you want to go with to avoid the hangover. I do like an old fashioned. That's what
classic. It's a classic
I like
drink.
to make. Which apparently Fletch said that's not what adults drink.
No, you just drink whiskey on the rocks.
I like to sweeten it up a little bit.
An old fashioned, though, is a professional drink at a bar. It's a professional order. You look like a classy individual showing up.
Right, when you're
you.
25 and then you grow up a little bit and you just drink Bullet straight.
No, that's when you have a
25-year-olds drink old fashions. I think like it's like a vodka sour or something.
Bullet straight.
I like some rocks in there. I do.
Come on.
That's the everyday.
I walked in the middle of Jackson Farrell Merrill. What's he doing? He's just hitting bombs.
They're about to start. So in 2 minutes, first pitch of the Padres spring training. But we got the first lineup, TD.
What we got?
All the heavy hitters are in. Bogaerts, Merrill, Machado, Tatis, Cronenworth, Nick Castellanos, who likes to drink beer in the dugout.
How about that?
He's the new guy. Luis Campusano, Ty France, who went to SDSU. We got the Padres hitting the field for the first time. It's been a while, but man, we missed them.
Yeah, no doubt. This is pretty cool to see the top of the board here, the lineup come in, all the top guys right off the get-go. I actually wasn't expecting it.
Actually, the top comment on Kevin Acey's tweet for the lineup card for today is, if Bogaerts leads off all year, just quit now. So Padres fans are ready to go for the season, baby.
I gotta say though, with the WBO you brought up, Ben, right before TD walked in. The WBC, excuse me, not WBO. That's boxing. WBC.
WBO is also what TD and I are going to have after drinking that morning.
It's the worst BO.
I don't really worry about it with Machado, Tatis, and Bogaerts on the way out for a few weeks here. I'd be more concerned if it was pitchers, if it was Yu Darvish and guys like this who had to leave to go play for their teams, because that's great. It's fun watching them in world competition. But every time you warm up in a bullpen session, every time these guys start, that's kind of miles and pitches on the odometer that's going to take into the Padres season. So I'm less concerned that you have just hitters. I actually think that can help the Padres going into the season with guys getting some confidence in some real life action versus spring training, which is, spring training.
I think Mason Miller is the only Padre pitcher, by the way, who's going to pitch in the WBC.
Didn't we already learn that Tatis needs to lead off?
Yeah, I think we were talking to Coach yesterday, Coach Quintera, for like 5 minutes on just that The fact that Tatis should be at the top of the lineup every day.
Every day. And what was it, a year or two ago that they said, hey, we're going to have him bat cleanup? It didn't work.
No, he's batting cleanup today.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm also looking at his bobblehead here. How come they didn't use a picture of him?
The Fernando Tatis Jr. bobblehead. It is about as bad as the Cristiano Ronaldo bust. That looks nothing like Cristiano Ronaldo. All right, we're going to rip the big three here, but we got a lot coming up in San Diego this weekend. So tomorrow, 3 o'clock, San Diego State basketball on the road at Moby Arena taking on Colorado State. 7:30 in San Diego, SDFC kicks off their season against Montreal. You'll hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Adrian Garcia Marquez and Darren Smith are going to be on the call of that one. And then also tomorrow night, TD, if you're looking for something to do, get on out to Pechanga Arena because we're hosting the Seals game.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we got our own section there. So, yeah, get on out there. There's still tickets available at sealslax.com. And Padres on base here?
I think so. They're starting off the season hot.
Spring training is going
Everyone,
well.
hold on to your breath. Xander Bogaerts just got to first base on an error. We're starting off hot.
2 pitches in.
Let's go.
Golly.
Sammy, let's get to the big three. Go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, YouTube chat already going here. Jamar saying Sammy and Brent are going to be repping the North Indiana Bears of Chicago.
Yes, we are.
There we go. Rich on YouTube saying baseball is back. It really is, man. It smells good. You can almost smell the fresh cut grass. Sammy, where do you want to start?
Let's head to the NBA. Kawhi Leonard. So they come off a 1-point win last night over the Denver Nuggets. Pretty thrilling win for him. Jamal Murray misses the game-tying free throw. They asked Kawhi after the game, do you think you are contenders with the Clippers this year? Well, yeah. And he said, quote, I think it's over now. So no, he basically went to the mic and said, no, we are not contenders going for this season. What do you think of Kawhi Leonard? Despite the fact they've been on a tear the last month or two, basically kind of poo-pooing Clipper fans who are getting excited this season.
I mean, I love the fact that Kawhi is back and playing more regularly than he has in years, by the way, and playing well. He went on a stretch of about 5 games where he was averaging 35 a night, but this is kind of what you get with Kawhi Leonard. He's never been one to tell a lie at a mic or at a microphone. In fact, he said one time, I'm a fun guy, and he is a fun guy, and he has a great laugh, but this is kind of soft. It's not what you want to hear out of your superstar, but maybe it lights a fire under the Clippers' ass.
He's a mushroom?
Explain, please.
He said he was a fun guy.
And there it is. That's a laugh, TD. Welcome back to San Diego Sports 760, baby.
Why would that be a laugh? You think he ever says to his family, Kawhi, because I love you?
God, I love you. I really do.
Come on.
And you know what, CD? You're a fun guy.
Yeah.
Travis Dale, 101.5 KGB. You hear him every morning from 6 to 10
Are
a.m.
you kicking me out of here?
No.
I got two more of the big three.
You're damn right you do.
Yeah.
Sammy, what do you think about Kawhi?
Kawhi, I agree with them. I don't think they're contenders. I actually like, if I'm a Clipper fan, which I'm not, but if you're a Clipper fan, I think heading forward, I like that I got rid of James Harden, who's 36 years old and has averaged in his last 3 game sevens only 13 points per game. Ivica Zubac has been a really talented player, averaging 14-11 on the season. But this whole group wasn't working. They weren't going to go win a championship. And to get Darius Garland back from the Cavs, who's a 26-year-old potential star guard, and then to get Benedict Mathurin, who last night had 38 points off the bench.
Benedict Mathurin!
12 of 22. I mean, this is a guy who could be a superstar in the league, but because it's backfilled with guards in Indiana, he never really got his shot. I think the Clippers' future is bright, but I do agree with Kawhi this season. I don't think that they can beat any of the top teams in the Western Conference.
TD, you have plagued us. Our YouTube chat is now just spamming fun guy.
Good.
So thank you for that.
Good. I'm also looking at the Brian Dutcher bobblehead. He looks like he's from the set of Star Trek.
He just needs one of these going on.
Yeah.
Sammy, what's next?
All right, so we're actually heading to my Chiefs today. The Tyreek Hill, widely expected, a lot of people thought, after he gets cut by the Miami Dolphins, going to be heading back to Kansas City for a reunion with Patrick Mahomes. But Andy Reid kind of quieted some of those rumors, said, quote, I don't know if Tyreek is healthy right now to do anything. I'm sure he's working hard on that part of it to get that straightened out. There's nothing happening there. Question is this. A, how much value does Tyreek Hill still have left in the league? And number 2, we've seen A.J. Brown, the Eagles reiterate that they want to keep him. They don't want to trade good players. So which embattled receiver do you think has and George Pickens as well, which embattled receiver do you think has a brighter future in front of him?
You hear that word, embattled?
Embattled.
That was
a good one.
We're playing some Pictionary.
Embattled receiver.
Look, Tyreek Hill, here's my thoughts on him. It was actually similar to my thoughts on Saquon Barkley coming into this year. If he lost a step because of this most recent injury, if he is a half a fraction slower, Tyreek Hill loses value. Now he's getting up there in age, serious surgery this offseason. If the Chiefs work him out and he looks good, I'm sure Patrick Mahomes is fighting for him to get back, but he may not be close to what he once was. And if that's the case, then you leave him by the wayside.
That statement you just read was a statement. Yeah, but embattled.
Statement.
That was a statement of, we are going to throw this out here saying we are not fully interested because we don't want to write him a huge check. So if we go ahead and point out the fact that he's injured, that makes him a little bit cheaper.
I agree. I think a guy like Tyreek Hill, a guy like George Pickens, a guy like A.J. Brown, they work on certain teams. Because if you have a coach like Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, where you're not questioning the credentials of Sean McVay, you're not questioning that they can coach or not, because you know that they have hardware to back it up, then you can deal with an A.J. Brown or a Tyreek Hill who's demanding 11 targets a game, or George Pickens, who we know has been rough at pressers before and has given PR teams headaches. But like if I'm an Eagles fan and you have a brand new offensive coordinator who's never been there before, has never been an OC before, and you're dealing with A.J. Brown, a guy who goes on Twitch streams, complains about targets, rips the offense, reads books on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Hell, that team put an Easter bunny in the locker room for vibes. We remember that halfway through the season. So I think only these kind of receivers only work on certain teams where you have a quarterback and a head coach in place. And so if the Eagles are looking to trade A.J. Brown, I think he has to go to a spot just like Tyreek or George Pickens where you have a stable kind of ownership group.
Is A.J. Brown, does he work on the Chiefs?
I think he would work on the Chiefs because you're not gonna be bigger than Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid.
He's gonna try.
Like he can try to do that to Nick Sirianni, and it kind of works. But there's certain teams in the league I think that it works with.
Great start to 2026, gang. Fernando Tatis Jr. just struck out.
Well,
just how we left off 2025.
It's not the leadoff. That's why.
Yeah.
We can do question number 3. We can get on the other side. San Diego State, final 5 games. Don't know if an at-large bid is still up in the air after the rough loss against Grand Canyon the other day. Even if it isn't, though, what's the number one thing that you want to see in these final 5 games to give you confidence heading into the Mountain West Conference tournament?
Cut down on the turnovers. Magoon Guath gets back into game shape and starts playing like he's coming off of injury every time he steps out on the court. He was playing with such joy that first night. You didn't really see it in the second night. And probably better shot selection from everybody. There needs to be a flow with this big 4. The 4 main scorers, Magoon Guath, Miles Bird, Reese Dixon-Waters, and BJ Davis. If they can figure out the scoring distribution a little bit better, which it feels like that probably should have been a problem solved a couple months ago, but because of injuries, it's been delayed a little bit. They need to figure that out, and then you just got to go win the Mountain West tournament. It's that easy. 3 games, 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm looking at these players, and I'm thinking if you had a few of them that had some pretty cool secret handshakes, that you couldn't duplicate, and you saw it out there, and it was just well executed and performed. Yeah, and then you went, oh, these guys are friends, and they do some cool stuff outside of the hardware.
They're fun guys. TD also told me the other day, he's like, they'd probably be better if they made more shots than the other team.
Yeah.
That would be great.
The key to winning that I have found is if you score more points than your opponent.
I would go with the big 3, big 4-ish, because we've seen over the last week, I mean, Tuesday night, Miles Bird is a great game. Reese Dixon-Waters, BJ Davis, Magoon Guath didn't have their best nights. The game before that, Miles Bird didn't have a very good game, and the other 3 were great. It feels like the big 3, big 4 are kind of taking turns trying to score. And it's a good problem to have that you have so much talent on the team that you don't know who's closing the show and who's it can be different guys' nights offensively. But also when you have fewer scores, that guy's getting the ball and then that guy's getting the ball. It feels like they haven't defined their roles, and I think that's hurt them offensively at times this season.
When's your birthday, Sammy?
June 13th, 2002.
June 13th. I got to get you a suit and tie.
I would love a suit and tie.
You are all business.
He's all business.
Yeah, all business. I mean, I tried to goof on you, and you went right back to it. Yeah.
You can goof some more if you want.
You can goof on me all day.
Yeah, no sense. And you just go back to business. All you want to do is work.
Travis Dale, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see him
you.
live and in the flesh, tomorrow night, Pechanga Arena.
Do you want to put your hands on this?
We're going to be drinking margaritas. So TD's mental state is not going to change from today until tomorrow night. No, we're going to have some fun.
No days off. That's what I say.
By the way, Derek Togerson, who's like the voice of the Seals, is going to be joining us coming up in 15 minutes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Are we gonna overtake his microphone?
That's the plan. Yeah, we're going to steal it from him while we're at the Seals game.
That's what I'm talking
It's going to
about.
turn in from a Seals game into like a strip club where you're announcing the players like, coming up next to the stage, Cinnamon. Let's go. All right, Travis, get the hell out of here. We got work to do.
Well, happy weekend, everybody.
Happy weekend,
See you
everybody.
tomorrow.
Bye, Travis Dale.
Bye.
By the way, so coming up next, we're announcing our winner for those SDFC tickets plus the SDFC jersey. Don't go anywhere. If you qualified, you might hear your name coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. How about a big round of applause for Victor, huh? Victor, who qualified with us to win those SDFC tickets. Victor from San Diego. He won them. He won a jersey as well. Victor, you should be getting reached out to by our promotions team today so you can figure everything out. But congrats to Victor. So sorry to everybody else who qualified. Thank you for listening, and still go check out the game if there's tickets available, which I do not think there are. But SDFC tomorrow night, our coverage begins at 7 o'clock. Adrian Garcia Marquez, Darren Smith are going to be on the call. Also on pregame starting at 7, kickoff at 7:30. Basketball, San Diego State Hoops are getting going tomorrow. I got pregame for you at 2 o'clock, and tip-off between San Diego State and Colorado State, and a big one is at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
I feel like that game, I'm excited for that Aztec game because
little bounce back.
Yes, I do think they bounce back, but was Tuesday's loss disheartening? 100%. It was a chance to, you felt like, get revenge. You felt like that was the game circled, that they were going to get after Grand Canyon because they lost in such a heartbreaker in that first game. And to Grand Canyon's credit, you got to just tip your hat to them. They got San Diego State's number. The way they play, they get out in transition.
7-1 against San Diego State all time.
Right.
Henley, which is a mind-blowing number.
Henley's 4-0 because he goes back to his time with UNLV the year before. So it's a bad matchup. Every team has them regardless of sport. Grand Canyon's not a great matchup for San Diego State, but you do feel like people have got the sense this week. It's a little bit sky is falling. And overall, I mean, this team only has 3 losses in Mountain West Conference play. Because of the damage done early, maybe that keeps them out of the at-large pool. But I think overall, these final 5 games, I'm excited to see what the Aztecs do because I don't think it's totally done yet with them at large.
Well, the nice part for the Aztecs is bubble teams are not very good this year. And you're playing another bubble team coming up in just a couple weeks on their home court in New Mexico. So you think about it, and if you can get, look, it's going to take a lot. I'm not saying it's going to be easy or likely necessarily that San Diego State gets an at-large bid, but imagine a 15 to 20 point win against Utah State at home, which isn't totally out of the realm of possibility. And imagine a 5 or 6 point win at New Mexico, which also is not totally out of the realm of possibility. If you go 5-0 over your last 5 with those 2 wins being by margin, all of a sudden you're right back in the conversation. Now, again, not easy, maybe not even likely, but it is absolutely possible for it to happen. And say all of that doesn't happen and San Diego State has to go out and win the Mountain West tournament. Again, not easy. There's a lot of good teams in the Mountain West this year, but someone's got to win the thing, and it's 3 games in 3 days. Get hot at the right time and anything can still happen.
And you want to build some momentum. Even if these final 5 games, you don't end up with an at-large bid. To your point, a lot of the bubble teams, like UCLA was a bubble team a week ago and has completely dropped off the map after 2 terrible performances against Michigan and Michigan State. So these projections right now are assuming that all these bubble teams get big wins. Now, I know Iowa the other day beat Nebraska, and the fact that the Aztecs play in the Mountain West, they don't have the opportunities that some of these bubble teams have. But I mean, it's important, even if you're not an at-large bid, to have some momentum going into the Mountain West Conference tournament, because it really is, we know about any tournament, it's about who's hot at the right time. And if the Aztecs kind of get it popping right before then, they could easily win 3 games in 3 days.
By the way, the team that went to the national championship was not the best Aztecs team I've ever seen. It really wasn't. They got hot at the right time. They beat
Fresno State 45-43.
One of the ugliest college basketball games. You were there for that one.
I was in Fresno for that game.
You were like engineering for Uncle Teddy randomly. But yeah, that was one of the worst college basketball games I've ever watched. And so you look at that team and what they were able to do. It's about getting hot at the right time. All right, Togs is going to be joining us coming up next. Derek Togerson was just out in Peoria with the Padres. Tomorrow night, he'll be on the field with the San Diego Seals. We'll get into some stuff with Derek Togerson on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Canada is currently on to the gold medal match on Sunday on the men's side. The U.S. are currently playing Slovakia right now with about 8:30 to go in the first period. USA is up 1-0. Got a packed weekend on San Diego Sports 760. Lakers Clippers tonight right here on the station. Lakers 8.5-point favorites. That gets going at 7 o'clock. Aztecs back tomorrow at 3 o'clock, taking on Colorado State. Schaefer gets you going at 3, with Fletch getting you pregame starting at 2. And STFC season debut against CF Montreal tomorrow night at 7:30. You can hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly, professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy's going to stay on till 3 today as we get going here on a Friday on San Diego Sports 760. We got Derek Togerson on the line, who was just out in Peoria covering the Padres. And by the way, Padres fans, Nick Castellanos in his first AB of spring training just drew a walk. So how about that? Patience at the plate. The veteran minimum gamble seems to be paying off as we speak. Derek Togerson, NBC San Diego. What up, my friend?
Nick Castellanos, OPS machine.
Do we like him already? And he drinks beer in the dugout, which is cool. What were your thoughts being out in Peoria, Togs? How do you feel about this team?
I went out there not knowing what to expect. You know, obviously this time of year, everybody's always like super hopeful and optimistic, and, you know, hope springs eternal. And then you kind of, a sobering reality sets in of where all the big holes are. And with this team this year, you know, I am actually like, still very cautiously optimistic. I think they have the moves AJ made in the last few days are very likely going to, I mean, just out of sheer volume, 1 or 2 of them has to pay off. So even if that 1 or 2 does pay off, if Walker Buehler or Herman Marquez or Griffin Canning turns out to be able to rekindle what they have or used to have, then they look a lot better on the pitching staff. They're a lot deeper. So Xander Bogaerts looks like the ball is jumping off his bat in a way that I have not seen even in spring training for the last couple of years. So I think he might be in for a bounce back season, which they absolutely need him to have. And Toddy changed his stance to swing up a little bit. I think he'll be okay. You know what I'm thinking? You know what? The right things are going on. They're in the right direction. And I love me some Craig Stammen as a skipper. So, yeah, I think we're in for a very solid season, and maybe even another 90 wins, which I probably would not have said before I went out there.
Which of the signings over the weekend are you most excited about, think has the highest upside moving forward?
The highest upside, I mean, Castellanos, you look at some of the underlying metrics, you're like, okay, if he can kind of rekindle himself, he'll be okay. The guy who I look at, the guy I've been talking about on the On Fire podcast for a very long time now, is Walker Buehler. If I've seen that guy in the postseason too many times, I've seen him against the Padres too many times to not think that if that guy, and he pitched very well down the stretch last year, if that guy can get anything close to what he is and can be, and he's still in his early 30s, seems like he's going to be a lot older because he's been around the game so long, but he got up when he was like 21 years old. And working with Ruben Niebla, the pitcher whisperer, who just somehow finds these ways to be able to get these guys back to what they can be, the best versions of themselves. I am very excited about the potential for Walker Buehler. I think if any of them is going to pop, that's the one that has the most ability to pop.
Now, it's funny, Togs and Derek Togerson joining us here on San Diego Sports 760. Sammy and I have fallen into this trap. I feel like every Padres fan falls into this trap every year where we talk about all the moves that AJ makes ahead of the season starting. And this year, there was a flurry of them all within last weekend. But really, doesn't the season kind of come down to whether or not Fernando Tatis Jr. and Xander Bogaerts play a little bit better than they did last year, especially down the stretch and into the postseason, and Manny Machado too, for that matter?
In the postseason, yeah, your stars have to be stars in the postseason. But Manny's going to give you what he gives you. He's going to be 25 to 30 homers. He's going to be, 85 to 100 runs batted in. He's like a metronome. That's just what he does. By the end of the season, his numbers will be exactly where they always are. I think the guy who really, assuming that Xander gives you kind of what he gives you and doesn't, it'd be great if you have that pop year I was talking about. Fernando's going to give you that kind of 5, 6, 7 WAR kind of season, just, right there with kind of with his potential. the guy who I look at as kind of the linchpin of this is Jackson Merrill, because last year, remember, he had
That'd be Jackson Farrell Merrill, Derek.
You had the hamstring. What's that?
That'd be Jackson Farrell Merrill.
Yes, my apologies. I believe it's not Farrell. So I don't know. I'm not sure where the people are getting that from. Anyway, I digress. That's a guy who he had the concussion, and that concussion really kind of messed him up more than I think he even realized. In fact, I was talking to him at FanFest, and he said that he kind of for a little while lost as he says, the FU attitude that he's always had. And concussions, I've had like 6 of them. They're not fun. So he took him a little while to get that back. And by the end of the season and the postseason, he had his FU attitude back. He stays anywhere resembling healthy and keeps that attitude the whole year. That's the guy who's going to be the difference maker. Also, I think Gavin Sheets at first base, giving you that extra slug that Luis Suarez was not giving you. This offense, I think, can be dramatically different than it was a year ago. So if the guys you mentioned do what they're just always kind of doing, great. If the other guys, you get more from Merrill, you get more from first base, you get something from Castellanos at the DH spot, now you're talking about a much longer lineup, not just relying on those guys. And that's the kind of lineup that can go deep into October.
What did you make of the whole AJ Preller waiting forever for the extension to be had? Then Machado kind of puts pressure on the team, and then they don't really release the details. What did you make of that whole situation?
It was funny because I saw Manny the day after the extension walking through the clubhouse. I said, God, man, you've spoken into existence. He said, what are you talking about? I said, AJ got his extension. He's like, really? I hadn't heard. So I actually, broke the news to Manny, and he was like, oh, I should have spoken up 3 months ago. But he was incredibly excited because of what AJ does for that organization. Interesting, I talked to John Seidler about this very thing, and he said that, yeah, it seemed like it took a long time, but they only met in person 4 times because travel schedules are so wonky. AJ was going to Japan, talking to Okamoto, and John's on the East Coast, and they can never be in the same place at the same time. And I know we have Zoom nowadays, but John says he likes to do business face-to-face. So it was only the 4th time they've ever met. And if you talk about maybe 4 meetings, that's actually a fairly quick negotiation in the grand scheme of things. So that's why you kind of knew, like, all right, it was always going to happen. AJ was always going to be here. They just had to find time to get in the same room with one another. They did that in Peoria, hammered out the deal, and everything's good to go. So it all happened probably inevitably as it was going to happen. And then when you hear kind of the inner workings behind it, which why they couldn't just tell us that, I don't know. So we're sitting here going, well, what's the holdup? Is there a stalemate? Is AJ trying to get an exit plan? Is the stale of the team messing this up? And the new people want to be able to bring in their own people? No, it was always going to be this way. They just really didn't communicate all that well that they were talking and everything was going to be fine.
Yeah, all that other stuff still seems more likely to me. This feels a little convenient after the fact to just say, oh, yeah, we could have been in person. That's a little whack to me, if I'm being honest, Togs. All right, and I still can't get over the fact that you've had...
The world is nowadays, how we're all connected. Yeah, you would think that, but John's an old school guy. He wanted to do it in person, whatever.
Sure. All right, and I can't get over the fact that you've had 6 concussions in your life. What have you been doing?
You know what? None of them were from football. I got hit in the head with fastballs a couple times. I was a passenger in a car accident one time, so that wasn't my fault. Got one playing basketball, took an elbow in the back of the head on a rebound. Just random crap.
Olympics, Togs, you work for NBC. You watching much?
Yeah, it's on in the station every single day. And by the way, how about Michaela Schiffer and getting that Shalom goal? That was fantastic.
That's what I wanted to hear, baby. Yes. Yeah, that was great. The Team USA women's hockey team yesterday, that was one of the most fun I've ever had watching a sport ever, period. End of discussion. That was incredible. And then the men's hockey team played right now has been a lot of fun as well. All right, Togs, before we get you out of here, text line is wondering, and I do know that the 913 is going to be at the Seals game tomorrow night. He says, Togs, nice. You got some fun lined up for the Big Rich, TD, and Fletch section tomorrow night. Let's ride.
You guys got a whole section?
Yeah, we got probably 50 KGB fans coming out.
That's the question I asked, Togerson. I was like, that's a little concerning.
Well, Kat Fisher's bringing 17 of her friends, and then we got about 50 KGB listeners coming out as well.
I don't know 17 people. How does somebody have 17 friends?
I don't know. I don't know what Kat does with her life.
Okay, so so that's going to be awesome, and yeah, obviously you guys are going to be doing the Trident ceremony, and that's become a big deal pregame where you kind of set the tone for everybody. So I need you guys to really get out there and sell it. Give me your best Aquaman impersonation, which I know Rich will be more than happy to do. it's going to be a great time. Seals games are always a great time. And if you get a whole section full of people that you know and are familiar with, and you're all kind of rooting the same direction, that's the section that gets very loud. And then the entire arena starts to feed off that. So I am relying on you guys to be the ones who really stay in the game, start yelling, start getting rowdy, start giving it to the other team. You guys are going to set the tone for this whole thing tomorrow. So the pressure is on you to come out here and have a great time and really get everybody else into it and moving in the right direction. You guys up for that?
SealsLAX.com. I'm up for it. Are you up for it? You can buy tickets there. TD did want me to ask you whether or not male nudity is allowed at Seals games.
It's typically frowned upon.
Okay.
But you know what? If you're up in the stands and you want to have that kind of, we're talking like full frontal or
mostly just some man nips.
You can go top. You can go topless is fine.
Okay, cool.
That's good. People do that all the time. You see that one kid at Chargers games.
Sure.
Always planted there. Yeah. So if you want to, rip the shirt off, hey, go for it. It's just all obviously know that. And when you do that, you are opening yourself to all the ridicule that comes with it.
That's why I'm bringing Sammy, so he can show off his six pack to everybody. He's the one who works out on this show. He's the face and the looks, and I'm just everything else. Togs, appreciate you a lot.
Right.
I'll see you tomorrow night. Be loose with that microphone. If you want to throw it into a section, you're more than welcome to throw it into our section. And looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys what, guys. I know you haven't been to a Seals game. You're going to want to come back.
I've been to plenty of Seals games, Derek, just not with you on the microphone.
Yeah, like I said, so that way you really haven't been to a Seals game.
Right on, man. Well, I'll see you tomorrow night. Appreciate your time as always.
See you guys.
Derek Togerson, ladies and gentlemen, NBC 7 here in San Diego. It is San Diego Sports 760. We're taking a quick break here. Team USA is in the lead, by the way, over Slovakia. Sammy's going to make us all some money coming up next. I haven't even checked. Did you make us money last night? Did we win?
2 of 3.
Jesus, man. If 2 of 3 was a winner, we'd win every single time. It's nuts. Sammy's hit rate on 2 of 3 is out of this world.
Orlando, I called Clippers money line. They were dogs at home. I called Orlando, beat them by like 30. And I'm blank. What was my last? Oh, the Knicks. I mean, these damn Knicks. Cade Cunningham is the new daddy of New York. It was Trae Young. Now it is Cade Cunningham. We know not to bet the Knicks against the Pistons anymore.
Right on. Well, we'll see if Sammy can make us some money for the weekend. Coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2, and then Sammy and Brent got you till 3. Going to be a fun day here on San Diego Sports 760. And the Aztecs are back on the road tomorrow afternoon. They got Colorado State. Pregame coverage begins at 2 o'clock with me, and John is going to have the tip just after 3. 858 texting into the show saying bad Knicks beat, or bad Knicks break, but Pistons prove they are real dogs this year. Nice call, Sammy, on the Clippers. Hit their money line at half when they were down 4 to make up for the Knicks loss. 858 also telling us you guys are idiots because I always tell you to wager each game individually and then parlay them together if you're feeling spicy.
858.
If we were putting money
I appreciate that.
on individual games all basketball season so far, we'd be rich.
Yeah, it's hard to hit a 3-legger.
Then we should do it, Susie.
No, today I got a special one.
Damn it.
Today we got the weekend. We got
Here
some
we
good
go.
stuff cooking. But 858,
lose.
I agree with you. Those damn Knicks, man. They had a perfect opportunity. No Duren, no Stewart, none of their bigs, and Karl Anthony Towns did not show up. Jalen Brunson cannot be by himself.
You called it yesterday. You were like, I know Karl Anthony Towns has screwed us plenty of times.
Like, I don't get it. Like, Jalen Brunson is by himself in New York, and the New York Knicks are wasting an opportunity to potentially go to the NBA Finals because this is a prime year to do it. No Tyrese Halliburton, maybe no Jason Tatum, and the Pistons are right. The Pistons are good. All
right, before we get to long shots, I do want to point out that Canada earlier today really struggled against Finland, and that was supposed to be kind of an easy game, but Crosby is not right. He is limping, which I didn't know was possible to do on ice skates. But Team USA dominated the first period against Slovakia, 2-0, Team USA in the lead. So it does look like we're going to get that 5 a.m. awesome Canada, USA.
Don't be jinxing anything.
Gold medal match. Knock on wood, throwing salt over my shoulder, but hopefully that's the case. All right, Sammy, you ready for long shots?
I am ready.
Smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Say that me and his man.
with long shots.
Meanwhile, Padres season is basically over. They're down 2-0 to the Mariners.
It's
Top of the third inning.
It's over.
Sell the farm, Sammy. It's over. Disastrous start for the Padres. That was my best Steve Hartman, who's coming up at 1:30. All right, Sammy,
I got to text him. I forgot to text him. I just always assume that he's on.
And Steve has like mental alarms set for everything in his life. It would be weird if we didn't call Steve at 1:30. I promise you he's ready.
Yeah, that's why. So I'll do this after the break. But Steve Hartman will be here at 1:30. All right. Guess what? I got an NBA pick. I got a college basketball pick. I have a UFC pick, and I have a boxing pick.
Oh, man.
We're going around. This is if you are a sports fan this weekend, I got a pick for you. All right, we're going to start with college basketball. Big game of the day, Michigan, Duke, number 1, number 3.
Today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Matching up at Cameron Indoor. Michigan, 2.5-point favorites in this game. So I get it. Michigan has basically dominated everyone this year, but I got a hunch the Boozer Twins are going to go off in this one. Give me the points at Duke at home. Here's what we got going for us if we're betting Duke. A, you're getting 2.5 points. 2, it's one of the most raucous places to play in all of college basketball. They sit right down on the floor. Michigan is coming off a massive win over Purdue. They've beaten Nebraska. They've basically beaten every top team. But if you're Duke is one of the teams. I think Duke, Arizona, Michigan, there's a little bit of an upper class here in college basketball where there's 3 to 4 teams that are really kind of a tier above everyone else. Duke is of that kind of ilk. I think Duke can be one of these teams that cuts down the nets. They're looking for a signature win. North Carolina was their chance a couple weeks ago. They lost. Now, North Carolina, Caleb Wilson, they had that game circled. I mean, North Carolina needed a signature win. I think tomorrow, Duke getting points at home. I think we're over-evaluating Michigan a little bit after the Purdue game. I watched that game. Purdue came out really flat. Michigan built a big lead, and they were never really able to claw back in this one. I think Duke covers the spread and wins this one outright. So plus 2.5.
Do you think they're more like the Rocky Mountain elk or the Roosevelt elk? What do you think?
Elk?
Yeah.
Oh, what I said? No, of that ilk. Elk. Oh, ilk. Whatever. You know what I mean? Elk, ilk. Same
Who's
thing.
next?
We're heading to Lakers Clippers tonight. Now, people are going to go, Sammy, don't bet with your heart.
Don't bet with your heart.
And I haven't. A lot of the times, by the way, I usually bet against my Lakers because I don't like to be the reason why I sell the parlay.
Rich McGuire on YouTube, you want to chime in here?
Rich just called me out, and it's fair. But remember the last pick against the Sixers, I hit my last Laker pick. Lakers win this game big tonight. They're winning. They're covering the spread 8.5. Let's look at what the Lakers are. The Clippers coming off a back-to-back. They won a tight one last night over the Nuggets, 115 to 114. Kawhi and Benedict Mathurin carried the entire team. Mathurin had 38 points off the bench. Kawhi had 22. But there's a reason why the Lakers are 8.5-point favorites. I don't know if Kawhi is going to play tonight. He doesn't normally play back-to-backs. Darius Garland is out for this game. Bradley Beal is out for this game. This is the third time this season the Lakers are entirely healthy. Everyone on the roster is available. Only the third time this season. Reeves, Luka, and LeBron have only played together 10 times. This will be their 11th. They're 7-3 in those games. I think the Lakers build on their last win going into the All-Star break. I think they put a beat down on the Clippers tonight.
All right, YouTube and text line real quick. At San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube, 70470. Start your message with team. We got about 3 minutes left here. Are we fading Sammy's Laker pick, or is it faith in Sammy? Just say fade.
If you want to fade the pick, that's fine.
Either say these words, fade, or faith in Sammy. Whichever you think. I'm going to tally them up, and that's what I'm doing on that pick.
All right, we're into the UFC. Then we're going to boxing. UFC, Sean Strickland and Anthony Hernandez fighting this weekend. Hernandez is the 4th-ranked contender. Now, Sean Strickland, we're not getting into politics, but this dude's an idiot. Okay, like I'm just like he says some horrible stuff at the presser this week.
He had the most unhinged press conference I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I'm not getting into it all, but this dude's a clown. Sean Strickland, though, here's my bet, though. We're going over 4.5 rounds because there's not a lot of money. Hernandez is a minus 255 favorite. I think he wins this fight, but Sean Strickland is an interesting UFC fighter because he fights a Philly shell. For what people don't know, that's what Floyd Mayweather and Pernell Whitaker in boxing made famous. They have one hand in front of the other. It looks like their face is susceptible to getting hit, but you basically can't touch them. The jab is basically a rangefinder to kind of paw off shots. He takes fighters the distance. I think this fight goes to the distance, but Hernandez takes him down a couple times. I think Strickland survives. I think Hernandez wins, but I think we're going over 4.5 rounds. Strickland historically doesn't have a lot of knockout power, but likes to accumulate punches. It's going the full 5 rounds. All right, Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios. I can't wait for this fight. This is a fantastic fight going down in Las Vegas tomorrow night. Here's the bet. Ryan Garcia, plus 138 to win by KO, TKO, or DQ. Ryan Garcia is one of the most polarizing figures in boxing. He's Golden Glove winning amateur. He fights Tank Davis. He loses that fight, but Tank Davis weight drains him. So what that means, he only allowed him to weigh 10 more pounds the day of the fight, and he was completely weight drained. He didn't have a lot of power and muscle going into that fight. Then he beats the crap out of Devin Haney. He gets found on roids. He comes in over the weight limit. People declare that a no contest. We all watch the fight, though. And then he has a lackluster performance against Rolly Romero on the Times Square card. Ryan Garcia, there's a reason they picked Mario Barrios. He's a big name. He just came off fighting Manny Pacquiao in a fight I think he lost, actually. Barrios has lost to all the top-tier competition. He lost to Tank Davis. He drew with Manny Pacquiao. Again, I think Pacquiao won that fight. Garcia, this is his last chance to be an A-side level fighter. He's got the social media following. He's got the pay-per-view numbers. He's got the look. He got everything. He's got a great left hook. The way Barrios fights, I think he's going to be able to land his right cross. Garcia doesn't get enough credit for his right hand. Everyone talks about the left hook. It's one of the most lethal shots in boxing. I think he's going to dispatch Mario Barrios. His career really rests on this fight tomorrow night. Barrios a little bit on the downturn. I don't see him being able to win this one. Give me the plus money odds of Ryan Garcia plus 138 to win by KO, TKO, or DQ. All right, so to recap the parlay, we got the Lakers minus 8.5 tonight against the Clippers. I like Duke plus 2.5 at home at Cameron Indoor taking on Michigan tomorrow night. Anthony Hernandez and Sean Strickland going over 4.5 total rounds, 5-round total fight. And I like the plus money odds. Give us Ryan Garcia plus 138 to get Barrios out of there tomorrow night in Vegas.
All right, we like it. Are we, let's see, Rich says faith in Sammy. Text line says no. I don't know.
858 says faith in Shalom God, gold.
Sure.
858 says faith in Sammy, but Sean Strickland is going to be Hernandez's daddy. I think Hernandez wins the fight.
I kind of like the plus money on Strickland. Maybe.
619 says Sammy never beating the illiterate allegations. Hashtag elk.
I wasn't going to read that one, but it is funny. Hashtag elk, baby. You want to go on a hunt? Want to go out to the mountains
again?
Take down some elk.
Blame San Diego State. I don't know what you want to do. That's where I got a degree from.
It is not the builder; it's the tool. That's Sammy's thought process here.
Shout out to Miramar College. First 2 years, baby.
It's San Diego Sports 760. Me and illiterate Sammy have a whole nother hour for you coming up next. A big congratulations to Victor, by the way, who did win those SDFC tickets as well as the SDFC jersey. Victor, our promotions team has reached out to you, so check your email and be able to claim all those prizes for tomorrow's game. San Diego Sports 760, Steve Hartman, and hour number 2 coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app. Make weekend plans now. Get out to Valley View Casino and Hotel because you got to start getting in your entries for the Cash is King event, which is coming up on Saturday, February 28th at the main stage bar for the Cash is King giveaway. $10,000 in cash are going to be given away to 45 guests all night long with drawings to win $200 every hour starting at 7 until 10 p.m. Plus at 10:30, there's going to be a grand prize drawing of $400 each for 5 lucky guests, so don't miss it. The Cash is King event coming up on February 28th from 7 to 10:30 only at the Valley View Casino and Hotel. To earn rewards while you play, be sure you're using your Players Club card. If you're not a Players Club member yet, signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Just head out to Valley View Casino, visit the front desk, and you can sign up for the Players card where you're going to receive over $200 instantly in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. Free offers like $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints with some of the best burgers in San Diego. You got to get on out to Valley View Casino and Hotel. Use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games so you can be in on the Cash is King event on February 28th. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants.
This part is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The Lakers taking on the Clippers tonight right here on 60. Hear that game at 7 o'clock. That one, busy weekend on the state. San Diego State taking them on 3 o'clock tomorrow. Schaefer gets you going at 3 o'clock with Fletch going pregame starting at 2. And then SDFC 7:30 taking on season debut CF Montreal. Of course, you can hear that right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 7:30. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
Not like other guys.
Sound off like you got a pair.
Getting you ready for a big weekend. It's a road trip with some altitude as the Aztecs head to Colorado State. And it's the season opener for our home team, San Diego FC.
Dreyer, the ball skips away, goal. Goal, San Diego FC, Anders Dreyer.
Last year was just a warm-up. And the Padres open up spring training versus the Mariners. Plus,
Clippers plus 4.5. Going to make a statement coming out of the All-Star break against the Nuggets.
Okay.
Magic going to beat the crap out of the Kings tonight.
Look at you. You're a big shot.
Give you the Knicks to cover against the Pistons, minus 4.5.
Mistakes happen.
let's talk about it all right now in the Fletch Zone.
San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long, now joined by Brent Sperry.
Yes, sir.
Gonna have a hell of an hour coming up for you. We can't wait for it. Steve Hartman's gonna be on at 1:30. We may have a special surprise guest who's in the building that I know everyone will be pumped up about.
He's wandering around.
He gave me a 5 signal, so I don't know if that means 5 minutes or 5 hours or what exactly that means, but maybe a special guest joining us here in the next couple of minutes to talk some SDFC, which gets going tomorrow night. You're going to hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. Adrian Garcia Marquez, who, man, that guy's fun. He's going to be on the call along with Darren Smith coming up tomorrow night right here on San Diego Sports 760. We also got Aztecs Hoops tomorrow here on 760. That gets going at 2 o'clock with pregame, 3 o'clock with the tip-off. San Diego State, Colorado State in action from Moby Arena at 5,000 feet of elevation. Going to be a lot of fun. This is kind of a sports heaven day. We got spring training starting back up again. Padres are actually down 3-0, so basically sell the farm. Everyone should be fired immediately. Craig Stammen, what the hell are you even doing here? And then Team USA Hockey is up on Slovakia, which has been incredible to watch as well as we kind of weave our way through the Olympics here, see if we can notch another gold. YouTube is open at San Diego Sports 760. Text line is open, 70470. Start your message with the word team. We got a big 3 coming up in just moments. But real quick before we get going, we do need to ask Brent. Brent, how do you feel about the Chicago, Indiana, Iowa, Chicago Bears that are going to be coming to the NFL soon?
We're going to get into that in the 2 o'clock hour.
Oh, it's a tease.
It's a tease.
It's a tease.
I don't want to waste all of my rant and anger now.
Beautiful.
I'll save it for 2 o'clock.
Are you pissed or are you happy?
What do you think?
It's laughable.
Yes.
That's what I think.
100% agree, Brent.
I don't take it serious.
Well, coming up at 2 o'clock, Sammy and Brent are going for a full hour here on 760, so we'll save it for then. You're also going to be joined by Pablo Cisniega, one of the goalkeepers for SDFC. Had fun chatting with these guys over the last few days. We had Chris McVeigh on Wednesday, defender for SDFC, who's played more minutes than just about anybody. Amal Pellegrino yesterday, who was the savior of the second half for SDFC. And you got Pablo Cisniega today at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, we're going to squeeze a big 3 in right here because we may have a guest coming into studio. Brent, you have that for us? Go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, rip it. Where are we going?
All right, Genesis Invitational. This comes from our text line. Is Rory winning? So let's take a look at the leaderboard right now. We got pretty fun leaderboard. Xander Schauffele, the local kid, up at number 1 right now. You got Bridgerman up there. Rory is tied for 5th alongside Matt Fitzpatrick and a few others. Jordan Spieth sitting there at 11. Who's your Fletch? Who you got heading into the weekend? Starting the weekend.
I know who I'm rooting for, and that is Xander Schauffele. I will say Scotty Scheffler had a really rough day 1. He finished off with a couple birdies, though, so he might be charging back. We've seen him do this in the last 2 tournaments. Even at place 54 as he is right now, I wouldn't count Scotty out. Rory is playing well, man, and he was 4 under the first day, 2 under today. No, 5 under the first day, 2 under so far today through 4 holes. So Rory's charging. I would love to see this leaderboard stay stacked like this. Give me Xander, give me Rory. Max Greyersman, by the way, is near the top, who's been playing really good golf lately. Minwoo Lee's been on fire. If the leaderboard stays like this, it's going to be a very fun Sunday. I'll tell you that. With Team USA hopefully in the gold medal game at 5 a.m., leading right into the final 18 of the Genesis. Can't wait for that.
Okay,
but
so
are you telling me to pick a winner?
Yeah, right now.
I think it's time for Minwoo to get a win here on the PGA Tour.
Okay,
I could see that happen.
You're my golf guy. I want to know what is with Scotty having these terrible Thursdays and kind of Fridays? I don't get it because
What's your boxing line? You always like to say something about satin sheets.
Oh yeah, you can't get up and do road work in the morning when you're waking up with satin sheets.
Think about what Scotty Scheffler's done over the last 2 years. How much money he's banked just on top 10s alone, not even counting wins. The dude is probably $100 millionaire based on top 10s throughout his career, and that's not including some of the wins he's had in PGA Tour events. So I do think the season is still young for Scotty, and once we get closer to Augusta time, which is coming up in a month and a half now, you'll start seeing Scotty get back to that killer instinct. But he's been playing great on Saturday and Sundays this year.
It is fun golf it's like tennis, it's like boxing, like UFC. It is a star-driven sport. This leaderboard right now is fun. Schauffele, Fitzpatrick, Rory, Spieth. Hopefully, Scotty gets back into this thing. But it is better when you have recognizable names going into Sunday. And it's been fun, though, because I think there's been a conversation. Is it better for sports like this where you have Tiger dominating everyone? And yes, it's kind of everyone tunes in because they want to see greatness. But it is fun. Like a Chris Goddard so far this season is kind of making a name for himself. JJ Spawn last year winning the U.S. Open. It's fun that I feel like with some of the live guys coming back, you just have a majority of the most talented golfers in the world sitting on the PGA Tour. That's always a fun proposition.
I'll tell you what to watch out for is Ricky Fowler. This is back-to-back weeks he's playing good. Is Ricky back? Do we need to bring out the bright orange again?
Yeah.
Come on, Ricky.
All right, let's head to the NBA. Cade Cunningham last night. Now, he sold long shots because we had the Knicks to cover the spread by 4.5. Cade Cunningham drops 42 points, destroys the Knicks for a third time this season without Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. Cade also said he believes he should be the headliner for the Team USA Olympics roster, and he is the best American player today. Do you agree with him?
God, he's close, isn't he? It does feel like there's a pretty obvious top 5 right now in terms of USA talents, but for me, it's almost Cade, but man, I like Anthony Edwards, so it's kind of tough. And like KD still exists, Steph Curry still exists. I know they're a little bit older, but they're still near the top for me. So I'm comfortable keeping him in the top 5. He's not one yet, though. Like even LeBron might still be above him.
Well, okay, okay.
If we're starting a team today, I don't get too far before getting to Cade Cunningham.
Right,
it's like Brunson, it's Anthony Edwards, it's Cunningham, all kind of grouped together.
I think Tatum and Halliburton, you have to knock down a peg because of the injuries. But if they're fully healthy, they have to be up there. Jaylen Brown, I think, deserves some consideration. But Cade Cunningham's not wrong. I would pick, if I was starting a team today, I'd pick Anthony Edwards. I'd pick Cade too if he's just American players starting a team going into the future. But Cade Cunningham is not wrong.
Who's the first one of these guys to win an MVP?
Oh,
we need one.
Ant.
Well, it's been since 2019 since there's been an American-born MVP.
What's the first American to win it in the last? Since Harden.
Oh, who is the last one?
No, who's going to be the next American to win it?
I would say Cade. Do you know how pathetic the Pistons have been since Chauncey Billups and those guys played for them, and they kind of got made fun of when they took Cade Cunningham in the draft. So I'd go with Cade Cunningham.
I think so too. Cade and Anthony Edwards are interesting in that they both are amazing players that play on teams where they don't really have number 2 options that people look at as championship contenders. Duren's really good for the Pistons, and Julius Randle's a solid one-on-one player. But I don't know, especially on Randle's regard, if Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham had a running mate, they might be a top 3 player in the NBA off the top.
We'll see. Who's next?
All right, looking at college football, kind of NFL as well. Kurt Cignetti obviously wins the championship for Indiana, comes out of nowhere. Indiana, historically one of the most losing college football programs there's ever been. So Kurt Cignetti, though, during the season, got a salary bump when the the Penn State job came open. When they fired James Franklin, It was widely expected he was going to go to Penn State. He gets a bump. Now, after the season, they have increased his base salary to $13.2 million through 2033. What is better to be, a NFL head coach, or a college football head coach?
Well, it's good if you're Kurt Cignetti as a college football head coach. College football head coaches have more on their plate now than they ever have in the history of it. For a long time, I would have told you being a college football head coach is a better deal because you get to recruit, you get to keep people in-house. You become the most powerful person in the state sometimes. See Nick Saban for his run at Alabama. But now, dude, the fact that you could wake up every morning as a college football head coach not knowing who's on your roster would kill me. Would absolutely kill me. So I don't think being a college football head coach is the better move anymore, unless your name's Kurt Cignetti, who has somehow hacked the system. And it feels like maybe this year is when they start getting a ton of huge name NIL. But what were they? They were middle of the pack NIL last year.
Yeah, they had 8 like 4- and 5-star recruits.
Right,
I mean, that's unheard of to have the amount of talent and to win a championship with that few 5 stars. But it
kind of shows you culture still wins.
Exactly. And the best thing to be in college football now is Kurt Cignetti, Indiana, Matt Rule at Nebraska. Matt Rule has turned the program around somewhat, but has not returned Nebraska to what they were in the 90s, except the threat of him getting a, quote, blue blood job at Penn State, because both these guys were linked to Penn State. They both got pay bumps. And to what you just said about you're kind of the man on campus, this is why Urban Meyer didn't work out in the NFL. You're not telling Miles Jack, who's a 33-year-old linebacker with a wife and kids and who makes more money than you, to go run laps.
Urban Meyer also kicked people.
He also kicked people.
That's a problem.
In years past, being a college football head coach, you had full control. Now, to be on the recruiting trail the day after you win a championship, that sounds exhausting. In the NFL, you don't have to pitch players to be on your team. You have a shorter leash, I think. If you're not performing well, you're more likely going to be on the outs fast. But I think obviously being in the NFL is the better job right now to not deal with recruiting.
Lightning round. We need a quick one. Oh, was that 3?
That was 3.
I think that was 3. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, we'll keep you updated on what's going on with the Padres as well as Team USA, but get into the Padres a little bit here as we sit about a month away from baseball being in our lives every single day. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Pregame coverage begins for SDFC taking on CF Montreal. Kickoff at 7:30 with Adrian Garcia Marquez and Darren Smith. Padres, if you were wondering, are down 3-0 to the Seattle Mariners. So basically sell the farm. The whole team is ruined. The 2026 season should just go into shambles. Team USA, on the other hand, up 2-0 on Slovakia. We got both of them going on screens here in the studio.
You know, the penalty kill for Team USA has been perfect.
Penalty kill for those uninitiated to the sport of hockey.
That's the sin bin.
The opposite team is on power play. You need to really strengthen up your defense because you're down one team or one player.
Don't disparage the San Diego hockey public, okay?
You know when I learned that, Sammy? 24 hours ago is when I learned that. So
I'm very proud of that.
Very proud of it. And I'm locked in on hockey. I have honestly, this is more fun than I ever thought I would have watching hockey, but the Olympic run for the women's team, I had a blast.
That was fantastic.
Dude, the goals they scored in the final 2 minutes of the game yesterday and the goal in overtime were badass. I've been watching them on replay. No joke ever since, sending it to anybody who cares, which I'm having a hard time finding enough people that care. It's like me and Aaron Bauman in sales are the two who are like getting hyped on this. But I had so much fun watching the women's run. The men's run has been great. And
hockey,
here we go.
I love hockey, man. Like, I'm not even just saying this. I've watched the Kings my whole life.
What bar are we going to at 5 a.m. Sunday morning?
Please,
who is serving us alcohol at 5 a.m. Sunday morning?
What bar is open at 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning?
Text line 70470. Start your message with team. Please, if you own a bar, if you're going to a bar, let us know somewhere in San Diego that we can get up and go to this thing. It happened for the World Cup, I remember. I remember going to a bar at 6 a.m.
Princess Pub in Little Italy. Have you ever been there?
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
They open up in the middle of the night all the time for soccer matches overseas because they got a bunch of people who follow Premier League teams who come and get hammered drunk at like 3 a.m.
See, we need to figure this out because we need to go. We need to show some patriotism. I mean, this Princess Pub, are we whipping it down to Little Italy tomorrow?
That sounds like too much. It'd be really nice if there was an East County bar that wants to do that. That way, you know, I could just wake up, roll out of bed, and get there in 5 minutes with a big parking lot. Parking in Little Italy is never the easiest. So, but you let us know, 70470, start your message with team. Who's opening up their doors early so we can get out and watch some Team USA hockey at 5 a.m. coming up on Sunday morning. Hopefully, knock on wood, throw salt all over your shoulder, all those things. Hey, Aztecs, back on the road tomorrow. They got Colorado State. We get going at 2 o'clock here on 760. Game starts at 3. And it's kind of a weird moment for the Aztecs, right? Because you're coming off that loss against Grand Canyon where everyone just sort of went cold. It was like Miles Bird was the only offensive piece that was doing his normal thing. Reese Dixon-Waters, who's been on fire, he's been shooting like 70% over the last 3 weeks until that Grand Canyon game. Couldn't make a shot all night long. BJ Davis, who's been so consistent scoring, wasn't able to get in any sort of rhythm. And Magoon Guath, who was in his second game back from injury, played so brilliantly in the first one, couldn't really get anything going either. So how do you put that beside you and get ready for a really tough stretch of 5 games here where to keep yourself alive in an at-large conversation, you need to win all 5. That's not negotiable. And you probably need to win most of them by some margin because right now you're on the outside of the bubble looking in.
It's interesting with this front court because when the Aztecs have struggled, it's because the front court doesn't dominate. And Michigan exposed that. Baylor exposed that. Troy just had an excellent night from 3. Were able to take advantage of it. And then Arizona, to their credit, they played pretty good defense against Arizona for the first half, and then the scoring just was shut down the second. It's hard because you want Magoon Guath out there because he has so much talent. He has some of the most talent on the floor, regardless of who's playing, who the opposition is. But it's weird because Heidi and Compton are more traditional bigs. They're not really. Not that they can't score because they've had games this year where they have popped off scoring a little bit.
Farrow is the ideal power forward across all of college basketball. Like if you had to make one in a lab, right, Farrow Compton is what you want.
To that point, he's not really a true center. Heidi is a true center that's more focused on helping run the offense, rebound, and pass out and find shooters. So it's kind of, I think it's in a weird way, it's them trying to adjust back into Miles Bird, Reese Dixon-Waters. When Magoon Guath's on the floor, when he's off the floor, Bird and Reese Dixon-Waters and BJ Davis are more attackers, scorers. And I feel like when Magoon Guath's out there, they're falling into this trying to play a 3-and-D type role where we're trying to sit in the corner and hit threes. And not that Miles Bird and Reese Dixon-Waters can't do that, but that's not where they're at their best. They're the best when they are attacking and being a focal point scorer. So what I want to see for the next 5 games is, can you figure out these big 3, these big 4? Can they figure out how to play together to where heading in the Mountain West Conference tournament, everyone has established roles, because you're going to need that for 3 straight games to win the tourney.
We'll see if it can happen. Would love to see it, man. It's going to be fun coming up tomorrow during the day. Some daytime basketball with Colorado State. All right, Steve Hartman coming up in 5 minutes. Before we take a break here, I do want to mention Team USA's hockey jerseys are so badass. They look like a 1980s throwback to that team that beat the Ruskies. I would like to see Team USA World Baseball Classic jerseys mimic those. Any thoughts from anyone in the room here?
Of course. These are some of the most classic sweaters that we've ever had. By the way,
have we seen the baseball jerseys that they're going to wear for the WBC?
I have not seen.
I haven't either, because I would like for them to just be this. If they have jerseys already mocked up, they should just change them to whatever this is.
Do you know that if they win this game and on Sunday they're going for the first Olympic men's gold since 1980? 1980.
Since 1980, when we took down the Ruskies in the semis, baby, which is like the only sporting event ever where the semifinals is the only thing that people remember. Most people think that the semifinal against the Russians was actually the gold medal match, and it was not. It's San Diego Sports 760. Steve Hartman, who knows all about that kind of stuff, coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Mitsubishi Electric. The U.S. men's hockey team just went up 3-0 over Slovakia with about 8 minutes to go in the second period. Canada beat Finland earlier today. They are awaiting the winner Sunday morning for the gold medal. Lakers basketball back tonight, taking on the Clippers at 7 o'clock. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Tomorrow, big day as well. Colorado State, San Diego State, 3 p.m. Schaefer gets you going on the game at 3. Fletch gets you pregame starting at 2. And then we got STFC taking on CF Montreal at 7:30 tomorrow night. Of course, you hear it right here on SD Sports 760. When California heats up, Mitsubishi Electric delivers powerful, energy-efficient cooling for your whole home. Create your ideal comfort zone year-round. Connect with a Diamond contractor at MitsubishiComfort.com for rebates and special financing. MitsubishiComfort.com.
It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. We got Brent Sperry here as well with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy and Brent are taking this thing from 2 to 3. Looking forward to it. We got Steve Hartman here for his weekly appointment. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Well, Fletch and Sammy, I have to admit, since Sammy normally gets me warning well in advance, when I never heard from Sammy, I'm like, gee, are the guys on today? So I listened to the end of your last hour. I had no idea Sammy was that in deep betting his father's money. By the way, USA is just like scoring like over. What is going on here? I'm watching the hockey game, 4-0 USA. They just keep 4-0. They're just scoring like crazy. So I listened to the end of your last hour, and Sammy's, just running down parlay after parlay. And I go, well, no wonder he forgot to text me this morning. The guy is knee deep in the gambling industry. It's unreal.
Uncle Steve, I'm sorry for not texting you. I literally slipped my mind. I was like, we haven't texted Steve. It was 1:25. I was like, I got to text Uncle Steve. And that's why you're the best in the business, because you hit us right back and are on 5 minutes later.
Also, Steve, there's no shot that even if Sammy hadn't texted you, you have a mental calendar. You know the appointment, 1:30. We don't miss Fridays here. It's Steve Hartman time here on San Diego Sports 760. Steve, how was your week? What was going on? Anything crazy?
This is I worked a lot this week, obviously, and it was a busy week. It was a very busy week right now. Post football is always that weird time. Now we do get the bonus of these Winter Olympics, and I will say, as we're coming down the stretch here now, now I'm beginning to pay a little more attention. Week 1, I'm sort of disconnected. Once we get to finals and gold medals and everything else, I'm definitely watching this hockey game right now, getting ready for Canada USA, or you saw the women beat Canada. I want the men to do the same.
Hell yeah.
But we got spring training baseball right now. Obviously the NBA coming off the All-Star break. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And then we had all the golf going on down in San Diego. It's going on in LA. This is a good time of the year, guys.
We've been busy boys. Now, Steve, the NBA All-Star game, the All-Star weekend took place since the last time we talked to you. How'd you feel about the USA versus the world type stuff?
Okay. Well, I understand why the players like it.
You didn't like it?
12-minute blurbs. Well, did you like the final game? The absolute blowout.
I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed the fact that Wembanyama was screaming in people's faces. I enjoyed the fact that Kawhi Leonard was stepping up and actually trying. That's one thing you could say about this year's All-Star weekend compared to the last decade and a half.
It's amazing that we have to come up with gimmicks to get our best players to actually play. That's the aggravating thing. I'm old school, guys. I remember when the All-Star game was an opportunity to see who the alpha dog was. Right? I remember, when Kobe Bryant was in those All-Star games, he's playing to be the best player in the court, just like Jordan was, Magic, Bird. Go down the list. It was a battle, a legitimate battle of the top players in the world going at each other in a regular basketball game, not some kind of gimmick game where you have to, this is the only way they can get engaged. And by the way, I'm sure that Wemby was really happy that Jokic and Luka Doncic all played all of 5 minutes each and pretty much checked out. So that he was on his own with the international team. So, yeah, again, I understand it. We're in the TikTok world. I get it, And by the way, baseball is a great TikTok sport. Getting over to baseball right now, I hope they don't. Well, they're going to screw this thing up. I know they are going to screw this thing up because they are getting a younger audience. But, as far as the All-Star game was, it's not even a game. Games, I don't even know how you classify it. But if the only way to get these players to play with any kind of enthusiasm or any kind of focus is to gimmick up the game, sorry, check me out.
Steve, do you think this year there's Indiana Pacers? There's a team that kind of comes out of nowhere and can make a run in either conference.
All right. So when you look at the Eastern Conference right now, I'm watching this morning and they're like, are the Knicks still like in it? I'm like, the Knicks? What do you? They just got blown out again by the Pistons. Look, if I were right now to pick, I don't know what the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander situation is. He's still not back. Doesn't matter because San Antonio's beaten them 3 times this year. If you were to say, go out on the limb and which 2 teams are going to match up, I say use the eyeballs. It's San Antonio and Detroit. These are right now the 2 best teams in their respective conferences. I don't see, the Indiana situation. Halliburton obviously had a lot to do with that last year. Plus the fact that Cleveland has shown that they are not of a championship caliber, despite the record they put up a year ago. So no, I think right now, again, if Wemby goes down or Cunningham goes down, obviously that's a game changer. But if these teams stay relatively healthy, we should see a Detroit-San Antonio NBA Finals, which, by the way, we guarantee our 8th different NBA champion in the last 8 years.
What are your thoughts on the Lakers right now, Steve? It kind of feels like the Lakers are sort of on that edge of being a competitor, but they're clearly not. This is supposed to be the Luka era. LeBron James is still there, but it doesn't feel like the Lakers have gotten necessarily closer to a title than they were a year ago.
Well, Fletch, listening to Sammy in the last hour, he basically bet his life savings on the Lakers to blow out the Clippers. So
yeah, I figured
that's one game, Steve.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the fact, obviously, that the Lakers' big 3 have only been together for a handful of games all season long. Look, again, for the Lakers right now, I'm not worried about the future of the Lakers. They're trying to get past the LeBron James era. Because, with the Guggenheim Group taking over, even though they can't spend money like they do with the Dodgers and they have salary cap restrictions, they are bringing in a whole team of people that actually understand how to run a sports organization, unlike the mom and pop operation that the Buss family has been operating with ever since the father died. So I don't see anything right now for the Lakers, but in the future, based on the success rate of this ownership group that's come in, I think the Lakers are going to be in good shape.
Steve, spring training gets going. Padres' first game is actually going on right now. Where do you sit with the NL West? Obviously the Dodgers should be the favorite. Giants got to rise. Arenado goes to Arizona. Do you think the Padres are still 2 right now, or do you think they fell back to the pack?
Okay, let's be honest about things, guys. Last year, the Dodgers won the World Series, and Snell was out half the year. Glasnow was out half the year. Ohtani was out half the year. All those guys are healthy right now. On paper, if this Dodger team doesn't win 120 games, it'll be an absolute shock. The battle for second place is all that, a battle for second place. Unless the Dodgers have a catastrophic string of injuries, this team is going to lap all of baseball. Again, you just added the top closer in free agency. You just added an all-star in Kyle Tucker to the lineup that's intact from a year ago. And that's right. For the first time since he's been a Dodger, they have Shohei Ohtani pitching in spring training. He's ready to win the Cy Young Award. He wants to win it all. So, I feel bad for the Padre people because, again, ever since the passing of Peter Seidler, it's clear from his family they don't have the same commitment to winning that he had. And because of that, we're just seeing them pick up, you pick up Walker Buehler. Are you kidding me? That's an addition. You have 3 starters right now. That's what the Padres have. They have 3 starting pitchers. That is not going to compete with the Dodgers at all. No team's going to compete with the Dodgers. So I know that's infuriating to hear in San Diego. But this is not where we were a couple of years ago when these teams are pretty much on equal ground. The difference between the Dodger roster and the Padre roster is like night and day right now.
Right, but that's everybody in baseball. Like you said, it's literally a battle for two
and
right
that's
now.
the point, guys. I mean, the Dodgers know, look, I mean, you just had Tony Clark resign as the head of the Players Union. He's had it.
Hell yeah.
They have no leadership of the union right now. There's no, look at, as soon as that collective bargaining agreement expires in December, the owners are going to shut the door on the players and say the only way we're opening this door is if you agree to a salary cap, and the players are like, F you. So, I mean, that is the exact place we are right now in Major League Baseball.
Steve, I wonder if we shared the same thought right when that news about Tony Clark came out, because it was the sister-in-law who he got caught having an inappropriate relationship with. For sure, the owners had to do some digging and have that one ready to leak, right? Like, for sure, the owners are saying, no matter what we have to do to weaken them, we're going to find something. And it didn't take too much digging. They found out that he was sleeping with his sister-in-law.
Well, again, you have two sides that are 100% dug in with no hint of movement, period. I mean, the players are saying this, fine, you want a salary cap? Then we want like a massive increase in revenue going into our pockets. Massive, which the owners are not going to agree to. And, you know, what the owners are going to do is try to put a hard ceiling on the top, bringing teams like the Dodgers and Mets down to earth. And then they're going to force the lower level teams to actually spend more money. That's going to be their argument to the players. Now, that doesn't mean it's actually going to happen, but that's going to be the argument. So, oh, no. There's still the same amount of money. It's just going to be spent on a more equal level. Believe me, I'd like to see that one in paper. I would not trust them for a heartbeat, and the players don't. And that players union is the best union, not just sports union in the country. They do not break ever. By the way, speaking of breaking, Slovakia is just breaking in par here. 5-0,
baby. Let's go Team USA.
5-0. Wow. All
right.
Jeez. I mean, I think they're going to cancel the third period.
Steve, without getting us kicked off the air or anything, I do have an important question to ask you. And it is about the Tony Clark situation. So the sister-in-law, that is the allegations against him, right? That she got hired in 2023 and there was some inappropriate behavior going on. So answer me this. What's worse, if it's his brother's wife or if it's his wife's sister? Because I don't think we know the answer to that.
His brother's wife
would be his sister-in-law.
Sister. Wow, that is tough. I'm going to have to say that's a tough one.
Right? I've been racking my brain.
I'm going to say his wife's sister. Because
that's where I landed. Because your wife will kill you. Your brother, you can just get over with a fist fight and a whiskey.
Your brother will knock the hell out of you, but then you'll have a beer later. Like, I had her, and you know what I was talking about. But I mean, as far as the wife is concerned, she'll kill you.
Yeah, that's exactly the rationale I landed on. Is you would die if it was your wife's sister, whereas you and your brother could get in a fist fight, and then a couple whiskeys later you'll be okay.
Look at Sammy. You're juggling multiple women. Are they okay with that? I mean, how's this work for you that you're doing this with multiple women right now?
I don't know. That's why I had to ask the king of date night.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's nothing like a woman scorned. I mean, there is nothing more frightening, period. Maybe you haven't seen that yet. I'm sure that Fletch, as a married man, has seen the beautiful Kendall once in a while get a little cross-eyed with him.
Never once.
And remind him, never once.
Steve, even if she went cross-eyed, she'd still be the most beautiful woman in the world. You know, Steve, it's actually like with Sammy, it's funny because Sammy will go on a date or two every once in a while and he will give me zero details. He's a perfect gentleman about it.
Well, that's good. And Sammy, you're getting very smart. My boys are the same way. They don't divulge anything. I mean, their mother tries to pry, but I'm like, no. You think I indulge things with my parents? Come on, ever.
Brett and I don't discuss our personal lives in details.
All right, Steve, we got to scram, but good stuff today. And keep pondering that sister-in-law thing because I'm very curious to see. I've been thinking about it for like 4 days. I can't come up with an answer.
I am. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll have more to talk about it in next week, guys. All right. Love you, man.
See you, Steve. We love you too. It's San Diego Sports 760. Take our final break of the day. Get you ready for Brent and Sammy coming up next. Live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long, Brent Sperry with you till 2 here. Brent and Sammy are staying on for another hour. I am going to do my taxes, which is a very, very fun moment in everybody's life.
In Long Beach.
Yeah, that's where our tax guy is. I've been going to the same guy since I started dating my wife, Kendall, because it's a childhood friend of theirs.
I got to say, that's a
Mr.
rough.
Scott,
that's a
that's my
rough
boy.
drive on Friday afternoon to go to Long Beach.
The absolute worst, and I'm not going to make it in time for the appointment. And my wife is actually at Disneyland, so she's not going to make it to the appointment either. I have to go just do our taxes.
Well, if she's
to do next year's taxes by the time you get there.
yeah, if she's at Disneyland, why doesn't she just pop over with some Mickey Mouse ears and go get the taxes done?
Because, dude, she doesn't just leave Disneyland at 2:00. My wife's a Disney adult; she'll be there all day. But yeah, I am going to do our taxes, so that's why I'm not with you guys for the final hour here today. I apologize. John Schaefer is en route to Colorado State, so
it's all right. Brent and I got it on lockdown right now.
You guys are going to be joined by Pablo Cisniega
Pablo
at the top
Cisniega,
of the two. He's a goalkeeper with SDFC, and by the way, tomorrow night right here on San Diego Sports 760, SDFC is opening up their 2026 MLS season. Pre-game coverage with Darren and Adrian gets going at 7. Kickoff in that game is at 7:30. So if you're not at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow night for the inaugural game, you can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, Padres have scored their first run of the 2026 Major League Baseball spring training, and it came at the hands of, everybody say it with me, Romeo Sanabria.
Let you pronounce that one.
I think I nailed it. Romeo Sanabria. Who is
it's kind of fun seeing guys who, although probably not going to be not going to be on the roster.
But he's a first baseman in the farm system. He's actually playing first base right now for the Padres, but he hit a home run. Maybe he should play every day.
Well, and remember Gavin Sheets last year? Remember when Gavin Sheets was like,
hell yeah, I remember Holy Sheets.
In 3 days, he hit 5 home runs or something like that.
That's how he got on the roster.
Right. Everyone started to get excited, and then it's like, well, it's spring training, and then he actually ended up having a great year for the Pods. So yeah, all these games matter to see who can get some depth pieces for the Pods going forward.
Looking forward to it, man. It's going to be fun. They are losing 3-1 though, so sell everybody. I think that's the rule here. Our buddy Tyler saying Xander Schauffele looking really good today in the Genesis Invitational. Scheffler on the bubble. Yeah, where's Scotty at now? Is he still tied in the deep 50s? That's where he was.
Do you have money like you did last week on Scotty?
No, I've been placing all my money on Niner futures, so I do have a lot of that going on.
Niner. How did that work out for you last year?
Not great, but I would have won a lot of money if they won the Super Bowl. They just didn't end up winning the Super Bowl.
Did you take power plant or the field?
You know what, Brent? It's too soon. I get it. It's a funny joke, but here's the thing.
I loved it, Brent.
Can somebody please talk to ownership and pull Jed York's head out of his ass because he keeps saying it's not a problem. And clearly it's a problem, Jed. It's a problem for another day.
I can't believe your guys' win totals at 10.5.
Why? That
No,
seems
because
totally fair.
well, I guess you still get to play that third place schedule.
No, dude, we're playing against your Chiefs this year. I don't know what's because the Chiefs suck so bad this year. That's why they're on our third place schedule.
We need free agencies in a couple weeks. We got the draft right around the corner. Just everyone patience. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
The Niners are going to travel more miles this year than any team in NFL history has ever traveled before. So the excuses are already ready to go for the 2026-27 NFL season.
Yeah, but 80% of that's because they're going to Australia.
Right.
And Mexico. They have 2 international games this year.
Oh, because
Mexico's like 2 hours away.
It's
big farther to go to
deal.
New York than Mexico.
They're also traveling to Kansas City, to the Chargers. Like, they got a lot of travel.
Because San Fran to LA is so strenuous.
Be nice to my boys. All right, I'm glad I'm leaving you guys now. Full other hour coming up. Hey, busy weekend on San Diego Sports 760. Here's what we got going on. Tomorrow, 2:00, I got pregame coverage for San Diego State, Colorado State. John Schaefer has the tip at 3:00. That's where John is. He's making his way to Moby Arena as we speak. 5,000 feet of elevation, by the way. SDFC opening up the 2026 season tomorrow night at Snapdragon. 7:00 pregame, 7:30 kickoff. Congratulations to Victor, who won those SDFC tickets as well as the jersey. What else do we have on 760 this weekend? I feel like we have more.
Isn't that Michigan, SDFC, San Diego State?
I want to say that Michigan Duke game is on our station too.
We'll just say it is. If
tomorrow morning, I think
in.
it is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
All right, San Diego Sports 760. I'll see you guys Monday. Brent and Sammy still going. Coming up next.
This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. San Diego FC opens the 2026 MLS season tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium against CF Montreal. Our pregame coverage with Adrian and Darren will begin at 7 o'clock, and the game will begin around 7:30. The Aztecs are on the road tomorrow afternoon to take on Colorado State. Our pregame coverage with Fletch will begin at 2 o'clock, and John will have the tip a little after 3. In the automotive industry, time and trust matter. Miss an electrical problem and it can slow down everything. That's why Napa delivers electrical solutions the pros trust, the parts, tools, and expertise to catch problems before they become breakdowns. That's Napa know-how.
Well, what's up, everybody? This is Sammy Long and Brent Sperry filling in. John Schaefer is en route to Colorado as the Aztecs are on the road taking on Colorado State in a big matchup there. So we got you for the next hour. Brent, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good.
It's so
I'm pumped up for the next hour.
Yeah, I know. We got a lot to get into. We're getting some Padres. We're getting to NBA second half, maybe some Aztecs. We also got Pablo Cisniega from STFC jumping on here in just a few minutes. But we're off the top of the show. It got me thinking about the Padres. So the Padres over the last week, there's been a lot of moves, and I think it's been easy to universally praise these moves because there's AJ Preller has thrown a lot of darts at the dartboard. You got Walker Buehler, you got German Marquez, you got Griffin Canning, and this has traditionally been kind of a thing where the Padres have a lot of pitchers, and we'll see if one of them can pop down the stretch here. We'll get into the Padres actually in a few minutes. We got Pablo Cisniega hopping on with us right now. Pablo, what's up, man? How you doing?
How are you? I'm good.
Doing good, man. Doing good. So, obviously SDFC coming on this weekend, Saturday. What's ready for the season? Like, how do you guys build upon last year? We've had a lot of SDFC guests on this week, and the question I've kind of been on my mind is, when did you guys know that the season was special last year? Was it when you guys first all got together, or was it kind of a seminal point during the season where you guys knew you were going to make a run in the Western Conference?
I think it was the beginning of the season when we realized kind of the special team that we had, the culture that we were creating, and just how special it was to be a completely new club that was coming from nothing in a way, and having all those special people and the Saquon family, the Mansour group, just everybody came together in such a special way to make it so that we could have such a great club from the get-go, you know?
Totally. So you're in your 7th season in the MLS, played for LAFC, played for Charlotte, played for San Antonio. What about SDFC and Coach Mikey Varas has really stood out to you among all the stops you've had in your career?
Yeah, I think that the belief in the play style is probably the main thing that stood out to me. Everywhere else I've been, there has never been such a clear and defined play style as the one we have here in San Diego, where I think every player, no matter what your position is or what your role is, you know exactly what you have to do when you step on the field. So it makes your job a lot easier when you have to step on the field because you know what you have to do.
Totally. So what is your routine for reviewing film to study opposing strikers? We talk a lot about, in other sports and you're studying film and in basketball. What is the number one thing you look for when you're looking at the opposition and what you need to watch out for?
So especially as goalkeepers, we sit down as a group and we study the strikers' tendencies, their midfielder tendencies, if they like to play in behind a lot, if they're a more direct team, how they create goal-scoring opportunities, if they're more of a crossing team. So we look into a lot of their build-up, a lot of their goal creation opportunities, and then based off of that, we prepare the week. And the goalkeeper coach, Jason, does a great job in shaping up the goalkeeping training sessions to mimic kind of some of the stuff that we might see in the game. So it really sets us up to succeed, you know?
So you made 2 starts this year in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. What is that? Because soccer is one of the few sports where you're playing worldwide competition. What does that do for you guys when you head into the MLS season, when you're able to play other teams from different parts of the world? Does that go into prep, or like how do you kind of change your outlook for the team?
Yeah, I think it was great because it got us into competitive matches earlier in the season than any other MLS team. So we've already had 2 very intense, very hard matches against a really good opponent who is one of the top 4 teams in Liga MX right now, and we were able to beat them in a 2-leg tie. So I think it just kind of sharpens us up and gets us ready for the MLS season to get going.
When you joined SDFC as a free agent at age 30, what about SDFC? I know you talked about how the club's been so far, but what about you knowing it's an inaugural team and there's going to be some struggles that come with that? You're obviously going to go through some speed bumps. Any team that's in their inaugural year, what off the jump made you want to be a part of SDFC and what's going on forward for them?
Yeah, as soon as I got the call from San Diego, they explained the project to me. They explained how everything was going to work. And I immediately bought in. I thought it was such a cool opportunity to come to a new club. I thought the idea and the game model would suit my style, and I thought it would be just a great opportunity for my career. So I'm very happy I made the decision to join them, and I think it's been great so far.
When you're obviously as a goalie, you kind of gotta build a foundation with your back line. Like, what is the number one thing for the trust and communication that you have to work for to make sure you're kind of on par with your back line all working together?
Yeah, I think you just build that over games, and it's just kind of that trust in each other, that knowing kind of what the other person is going to do before, what they're going to do before they do it, and that just comes with games, with consistency. And I think we've really been able to build that over last year because the back line is pretty much the same. So it just coming in from last year and building on that is going to help us a lot in this season.
Obviously, things change from year to year, but who do you guys look at this year as, is it Miami? Is it Vancouver? Was kind of seemed like you and Vancouver were battling all throughout the season last year. Who do you kind of, when the dust settles, do you expect that you're like, that's a team that we're probably gonna have to go through to get to the spots that we want to be in this season?
Yeah, I think in the Western Conference, there's always going to be some teams that are very strong. Obviously, Vancouver beat us last year, and they're a very strong team. LAFC are also a very strong team. Seattle, Portland are always difficult. So I think there's a lot of teams that that you're going to have to go through to get to the final to win that cup in the end of the year.
I'm always curious. You guys, obviously, as a goalie, you guys have some of the most signature moments just of any sport. I mean, there might not be a ton of action, then you're thrust into these huge spots. In your opinion, whether it doesn't have to be SDFC, can be another spot you played. What is the most memorable save or game of your career, and what makes you feel that way?
So probably the most memorable game of my career was this last one we played against Pumas, because I'm from Mexico City. It was my first game playing in Mexico City. It was in a stadium that I grew up going to watch games there. I actually grew up 2 kilometers away from that stadium.
Oh, wow.
So being there, playing there, and then also having all my family, because all my family's from Mexico. So I had 26 people at the game. So having all of them there and having just a really good game against them was just very special and very memorable for me.
That's so awesome, Pablo. It must be so cool to get to play in your home city. Well, man, I appreciate you jumping on the show, and we're all stoked in San Diego to see you guys against Montreal tomorrow, and hopefully run this thing back again and have repeated success from a year ago.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Pablo. SDFC getting going tomorrow, taking on CF Montreal. It's been so fun watching the rise of SDFC. I mean, I remember with Fletch and we had Coach Mikey Varas on our show before the year last year. And I've said this before, it's every team is going to be like, we believe in ourselves and we believe that we're going to go win something. And it's impossible. I'll be 100% honest. It's impossible to not, when an inaugural team says that, to go, yeah, it's a great story, but it's more about the fact that the city has a team and is getting a professional team. And then every barrier for SDFC feels like they met. They had the first big match, I believe it was LAFC or LA Galaxy. I can't remember who they beat in the first night. And everyone goes, that's a great story. That's awesome that you're able to do that. But they're probably going to fall back to earth. And then they have a sustained excellent season. And to think that not everything went smoothly. I mean, Milan Olaski was one of the top goal scorers for him, ends up going elsewhere. They don't renew his contract. The whole Chucky Lozano situation down the stretch of the season, he's a massive star for the Mexican national team, and him not playing down the stretch. And it feels like every barrier they had, it could have been easy at any of those points, when Olaski left the team or Chucky Lozano was benched, for the season to go downhill. And then at the end of the year being like, you know what, they had a good first season, that they made some headway looking for year 2, and they just kept kind of redefining expectations. And I think that's just so cool for SDFC so far, and why the city is just on fire, waiting for tomorrow night, waiting for season 2. Because if you make the Final Four in your first season and you're still getting your feet wet, you're still figuring out where the bathroom is, the training facility, I think this season, building upon it, it just shows that SDFC, nothing is really bigger than the brand, whether it's a star player or the Right to Dream Academy. You got to give SDFC a lot of credit for what they have, what they've been able to accomplish so far this year. All right, coming up next, we're getting into the NBA. All right, second half of the NBA season started yesterday. Lakers Clippers, hear it on the station tonight. That game, it's going at 7 o'clock. We're going to get into, are people underestimating the Lakers? Who's the number one threat to Oklahoma City? And what team could go on a little bit of a Cinderella run, kind of like Indiana last year? So coming up on the John Schaefer Show, filling in Sammy Long, Brent Sperry. Coming up next, NBA on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to the John Schaefer Show. John is currently en route to Colorado. So you got Sammy Long here. We got Brent Sperry with me. Awesome to get to talk to Pablo Cisniega a few minutes ago. Brent, you and I, we always joke about this. We're the NBA heads on the station. All right. So Fletch and Schaefer, they know their NBA a little bit, but we're the guys who watch it every night. And you brought up an interesting point about the NBA MVP. And I think it's really pressing today after Cade Cunningham drops 42 points last night in the Garden, has dismantled the Knicks, has the Pistons as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I think a lot of people expected Detroit to be good, but I don't think they expected that this good this early. But I don't know if you have them up in front of you, but you got SGA and Jokic are top 2, or you can read them off.
SGA is the leading odds favorite at minus 160. Then Joker is plus 270. And then it's Cade Cunningham at plus 900 and Luka at plus 2,700 and then Wemby at plus 3,300. But the thing that I noticed when I was looking at the odds that I thought was kind of weird that they didn't adjust for is, remember they changed that rule a couple years ago to try to curb load management to where if you don't play in at least 65 games in a season, you're not eligible for postseason awards. Well, the Joker's already missed 16 games this season, so he can only miss like 1 or 2 more games and then he's out. And I don't see any scenario where he goes the rest of the season without missing at least 1 game. So I think Joker is going to get kicked out. Shea might make it because he's got about a window of 5 or 6 games yet that he can miss, but he's going to be on the borderline. If he gets another actual injury and it's not just, they're going to sit him every once in a while to rest him, then he's going to be close. Luka, give me a break. It feels like he's missed 30 games already and he hasn't, but it just seems like it. So for me, I think they're not getting any of the headlines, but I think the 2 realistic leaders for MVP is Cade Cunningham and Wemby.
I agree with you. So, and I think we have to distinguish what defines MVP, because a lot of people think this goes to the NFL. This goes to every sport. Is it the best player on the best team? Is it the most valuable player to their team? Because if that's the question, if that's the who is most valuable to their team, I think Cade Cunningham 100% goes to number 1, because Detroit would be nowhere. Detroit would be the Detroit Pistons we've known for the last 2 decades that have been frankly irrelevant. And you look around them, the Pistons deserve a lot of credit for developing Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart. I mean, they got a lot of guys who were cast-offs at other places that have become big-time players for them. But let's be real. There's questions that Jalen Duren can lead a team to a championship as a number 2. A guy like Cade Cunningham, I know Anthony Edwards is down the list because he's missed a little bit of time, but Anthony Edwards doesn't have a lot of help. I mean, you talk about him, it's really just him and then Randall. If that's the case, I'm with you, because Shea, Oklahoma City is still winning without him. Jokic, surprisingly, Denver actually, Peyton Watson really stepped up. Him and Jamal Murray had that thing running. Obviously, Jokic and SGA take them to another level. But I'm with you. I think Cade Cunningham has a real case to be the NBA MVP this season.
I think I'm leaning towards Cade just because if you look at his supporting cast, yes, Wemby gets all the credit for the Spurs, but you have to remember, he's not the only number 1 overall draft pick that plays for that team.
Totally.
And, the Spurs don't have that. It's pretty much, like you said, Cade and a bunch of cast off from, other teams. And the Spurs, they're making a slow jump, because they've been getting better each year since they've gotten Wemby. But the Pistons, it's just like they came out of nowhere to where people kind of hoped that they're going to make some sort of progression with Cunningham and some of their early lottery picks. But I don't think anyone expected it to click and just hit this early.
Do you feel like Oklahoma City's the odds-on favorite? And that's fair. They won the chip last year, so there's no reason to think they brought the entire roster back. You gotta give them credit. I mean, Sam Presti, what this guy is able to do, loading up on draft picks. Look at a guy like AJ Mitchell. AJ Mitchell's a 2nd-round draft pick that's all of a sudden averaging, I believe, around 17, 18 points per game. And this guy who was like, who? They drafted who? And then all of a sudden with Jalen Williams out, he's been fantastic. But I feel like everyone is just penciling in the Thunder and then the Spurs. The Spurs are the number 1 competition. And I kind of want to remind everyone that, albeit yes, if you were like, you have to pick a winner today, I think most people would go with Oklahoma City. But Oklahoma City didn't have a Shaq and Kobe type run through the playoffs last year where they went 16-1 and their only loss was to Iverson in game 1 when he dropped 50 points. They got taken to game 7 by the Nuggets. Credit to them. They blew the Nuggets out. And then game 7 against the Indiana Pacers, a team that if you would have said before the NBA playoffs, the Pacers are matching up with the Thunder, they thought it would have been a clean sweep. And had Tyrese Halliburton not ripped his Achilles after having 12 points in the first 4 minutes, who knows what happens. So I just think this narrative that Oklahoma City, this dynasty is upon us. They're going to win the next 3 NBA championships, I feel like is a little misguided.
I still think OKC is going to win the whole thing. I think that them winning last year has just given them the confidence to feel. Last year they felt like they were a good team, but now that they won it all and that they know that they can win it all, and then they came out and had that red hot start at the beginning of the year when everyone thought they were going to, top the 73 done by the Warriors, and then they lost 3 games and everyone lost their mind. But I just think that they gained so much confidence to where it's sort of like when Jordan won the first title. As soon as he won that first one, it was just like the snowball going down the hill.
Right. It opened the floodgates up.
Yeah, they had all the momentum, and just once they did it once and just got over the hump, it was just like they were free to just play and just go. And I kind of felt like that's what they were doing in the beginning of the year until Shea got hurt. So as long as they stay healthy, then I don't think nobody in the East is going to beat them. If they get beat, they're going to get beat before they even make it to the finals. It's going to be someone in the West.
So you don't think Detroit's got a shot? Because I feel okay. So Texas 70470. Start your message with team 70470. Start your message with team. Is this Oklahoma City to lose, or do we think there's a real legitimate thought or a threat to the Thunder? Because when I look at this, do I think the Knicks can do it? No, I don't think a team. Jalen Brunson's a superstar, but Karl-Anthony Towns, he is not a number 2 on a championship winning team. The Spurs have played Oklahoma City very well this year. The Minnesota Timberwolves have played the team very well this year. The Western Conference is stacked to a point where it's going to be a gauntlet. I think Houston doesn't have a point guard, which is a problem for them. If they still had Fred VanVleet, I think they would be a threat. Denver has that championship pedigree, and with the emergence of a guy like Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, they have the depth to go alongside Murray and Jokic, kind of like that team that won with Bruce Brown and KCP. And then you get to the Lakers. As a Laker fan, I'm going to be honest with the team. Do I think that they're winning a championship? Absolutely not. They don't play defense at a clip that is good enough to sustain high-level winning. I think there's major question marks about the front court. Can DeAndre Ayton really lead, because he kind of does not show up in the biggest moments? But the one thing I will give the Lakers is this: they could be a headache for some people at the top of the bracket. Reeves, LeBron, and Luka have only played together for 10 games this season. This will be their 11th tonight that they play. They're 7-3. And the Lakers quietly over the last month, the month of February, albeit small sample size, are actually 14th in team defense. So it's not great, but it's better than what it was at 24. So do I think the Lakers are going to the NBA Finals? No. I think the Spurs are better than them. I think Oklahoma City's better than them. But to your point about if you think it's someone that beats them in the West, if you're OKC and you got to go through the Rockets, the Lakers, Minnesota, a collection of, and then the Thunder in Denver, a collection of these teams, that's a pretty grueling schedule to get to an NBA Finals.
The odds as of yesterday on DraftKings, the Pistons were 15-1 to win the championship. OKC was plus 135. The only scenario that I can see Detroit toppling OKC, and it would just kind of remind me of the last time Detroit won, that team when they had Rip Hamilton and Chauncey and Rasheed and Ben Wallace. And the reason that team beat the Lakers was because they were an actual team. And the NBA has shown us that, if you have an actual team that, from 1 through 5, that there's like no standout superstar like that they'll beat the team that has like 1 or 2 superstars that are focused like that. So, and that's kind of what I see Detroit as now, because without the exception of Cade, they don't really have any superstars on their team. They just function as a unit, and they would essentially OKC would be the Lakers in this scenario because they'd be the, defending champs and the big juggernaut.
Mhm.
So I think that would be one interesting dynamic about it, but it's just, I don't know unless OKC just gets so beat up having to go through the West that they're just gassed and they just don't have anything left for the finals. I can't see them losing.
I agree. I think the lack of shooting, when you play an elite defensive team like Oklahoma City, it can't just be one guy. It can't. Cade's going to get his, but they have Jalen Williams, Shea, Chet. They have so many options that it has to come down the bench, and they just have a better bench than most of these teams.
Well, that's the other thing too. OKC, Jalen Williams is supposed to come back. Like, was it this week or next week?
Right. And some people question if the team's better without him because they've been so good. I will say before we wrap up here, I think Boston's interesting. Now, it's tough because it completely hinges on Jason Tatum coming back. He's practicing with the G League a little bit. Now, this has happened with Jamal Murray before with the Nuggets, and he ended up not coming back. If Tatum comes back, you got to give the Celtics credit for what they do. I mean, you find a guy in Keita, a kind of no name who's been a really good center for them this year. Jaylen Brown, Pritchard, they got so much talent. A team that's been there before and won it. If Tatum comes back, they have, I think, the dynamic guard duo that could cause them problems, and they play defense at a clip that could spell trouble for Oklahoma City.
If I'm Boston, though, I would just be so worried about rushing him back and bringing him back early, because if you bring him back in or too early, you're going to be in the exact same situation you were this year, to where you brought him back for, let's be honest, a non-realistic chance at winning the title just because the East is so weak this year. And honestly, part of the reason the East is so weak is because Tatum's hurt. So, you're going to rush him back and then risk being in the exact same position that you were next year. I don't know. I would almost just be tempted to just kind of sit him to where if they're going to make the playoffs without him, it's kind of like the Jalen Williams thing, to where, they've been playing well enough without him that I don't know if I'd want to rush him in there. Plus, he's going to have no, I almost said spring training because we got the Padres on, but he would have no preseason to ramp himself up and everything else. So it's almost like it would take him a round or two to get his legs under him.
And the Celtics, they're going to be a threat for you. The Celtics are just a well-run organization where they're always a factor. And I completely agree with you, Brent. I think you have some serious concerns of the Celtics runway is far out. Do you want to jeopardize that by bringing it back too early? It's going to be a fun down the stretch here. Super stoked for the second half of the NBA season. All right, coming up next on the John Schaefer Show, Sammy Long, Brent Sperry filling in. We got a top 100 quarterbacks of the 2000s of college football. So ESPN released an article ranking the college football's top 100 quarterbacks of the 2000s. Some interesting names made the list and some didn't. We're going to get into that next. Plus, Padres made a flurry of moves over the weekend. They signed countless pitchers, Nate Castellanos. We're going to get into it all. But did they actually get better, or are they kind of treading water? And should they be scared about the Snakes out in Arizona or San Francisco with the Giants? That's all coming up next on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. San Diego FC opens the 2026 MLS season tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium against CF Montreal. Our pregame coverage will begin at 7 o'clock, and then Darren and Adrian will have the call after 7:30. The Aztecs are on the road tomorrow afternoon to take on Colorado State. Our pregame coverage with Fletch will start at 2 o'clock, and John will have the tip a little after 3 o'clock. In the automotive industry, time and trust matter. Miss an electrical problem and it can slow everything down. That's why Napa delivers electrical solutions the pros trust, the parts, tools, and expertise to catch problems before they become breakdowns. That's Napa know-how.
Welcome back to the John Schaefer Show. Filling in for John as he's en route to Colorado for the Aztecs taking on Colorado State tomorrow. Hear that game right here on 760 at 3 o'clock. Sammy Long right here, Brent Sperry hanging out. So Brent, you brought this to my attention. Now, you and I, we both love talking some football. ESPN came out with an article about the top 100 college football quarterbacks of all time. Okay,
no, of the 2000s.
Okay, sorry.
Just the 2000s.
Of the 2000s. Thank you for clarifying that. So top 100 quarterbacks of the 2000s, and this does not count their NFL career. So this is not what they ended up becoming, because we obviously know some players were okay in college, became greats in the NFL, and vice versa. So Brent, I'm going to read you the top 10, and I want to get your thoughts on your biggest miscues. And again, text us 70470. Start your message with team. Who are the top 5 best 2000s college football quarterbacks of all time? I want to hear from you. Okay, so number 1, actually, let me start at 10. We'll build some drama here. Number 10, RG3. Number 10, RG3. Number 9, Marcus Mariota, Oregon. 8, Lamar Jackson, Louisville. 7, Kyler Murray, A&M at Oklahoma. Deshaun Watson at 6 with Clemson. Burrow 5 with Ohio State and LSU. Tim Tebow 4 with Florida. Vince Young 3 with Texas. Cam Newton 2 with Auburn. And number 1 is Baker Mayfield from Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma. What is your reaction to that top 10 right there?
The Baker Mayfield thing kind of really surprised me because, of course he was going to be on the list, but I didn't think he would be number 1. For me, I thought Tim Tebow was going to be the hands-on number 1. And just because it's like you said, this has nothing to do with their NFL career, or in Tebow's case, lack thereof.
Right.
So, and Tebow is the definition of whenever you explain somebody, a player that was an awesome collegiate player, but their skill set just didn't translate into the pro game. And that's Tim Tebow to a T, pun intended, because, he was like unstoppable at Florida, and they won all those national championships. And then he got to the NFL and he just kind of disappeared. So I thought for sure, ESPN was all in love with Tebow, and I thought for sure that Tebow would be number 1, not Baker Mayfield. Cam Newton kind of makes sense, even though with the exception of the 1 year when they won the title, it just kind of feels like that he didn't really do anything other than those other years. Marcus Mariota kind of surprised me, cracking the top 10. Honestly, I remember all the hype, or no, that was Joey Harrington, but yeah, that kind of surprised me. I didn't have a problem with Joe Burrow being where he was. That made sense. Kyler Murray was a little high, I thought. What did you think? I'm
surprised at the Oklahoma guys. Like, Kyler Murray was fantastic. I'm not taking anything away from Kyler Murray. He was fantastic with CeeDee Lamb at Oklahoma, but in Baker Mayfield, yes, Baker Mayfield was kind of in the Tebow-esque of that he was sensational. Like, I equated him a lot to Floyd Mayweather. You either loved Floyd or you hated Floyd. And Baker had that. You got to give Baker that. Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt would not be a thing without Baker Mayfield. He plays the villain role. Remember, Baker was it Ohio State? He planted the flag. So in the middle when they beat him, I believe
the crotch chop.
The crotch chop. So Baker Mayfield is a very polarizing figure. He still is in the NFL, and you got to give Baker a lot of credit for turning his career around in the NFL when he looked like a bust after Cleveland, and then he went to the Rams and kind of bounced around a little bit. But I am surprised, like Burrow, if we're going over this list, Tim Tebow to me feels like the best college football quarterback of all time. Those Florida teams were unbelievable. He had those boys rolling. And to the point you made, Tim Tebow was never going to work in the NFL. I know he had the 75-yard walk-off touchdown to Demaryius Thomas in the playoffs, but that was the 6-7 game stretch where Tebow was great and everyone was in the Tebow time. He was never going to work. He was kind of ahead of his time. I'll give Tim Tebow this. If Tim Tebow had come out in the last couple of years, do I think he would have been an elite level passer? No, but I do think the NFL is more ready for a guy who is mobile first with not necessarily the best arm and decision making. And like, I'm happy they included Lamar Jackson on this list, because Lamar Jackson, I don't think people remember how good he was at Louisville. And I think the NFL, when we look at this list, like look at the top 10. RG3, mobile quarterback. Mariota, mobile. Lamar, mobile. Kyler, mobile. Deshaun, mobile. Burrow, not really, but mobile enough. Tebow, mobile. Vince Young, mobile. Cam Newton, mobile. Baker Mayfield, mobile at 1. So outside of Burrow, there's really no mobile quarterbacks. In the way that we have scouted, the NFL has changed how they look at the quarterback position. It all started with Lamar, because when Lamar came out, everyone thought that doesn't work. You can't have a guy who is not a traditional drop back passer work in the league. And you got to give Harbaugh and the Ravens a bunch of credit, because they built a roster, a system around Lamar Jackson to work. The same happened with Allen and Mahomes. They came out of air raid systems. Before Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, there had never been a successful air raid passer in a system. And if you don't know what air raid passer system is, it's basically 4 verts. Everyone goes downfield. It's easy for a quarterback to not have to distinguish defenses. It's just, you wonder if some of these guys, your Vince Youngs, your Tim Tebows, your RG3s, if they had come out today, if they had come out in the last few years where the NFL is much more about a mobile quarterback game, you wonder if they would have had more successful NFL careers.
And some of it too is they're basing a lot of this stuff. They'll put their stats in there for their whole career, but let's be honest, they're basing it off 1 year. The Vince Young thing is all based off that 1 year. And, granted, in my lifetime, that was probably, in my opinion, the greatest college football game I've ever watched was that Rose Bowl
Texas
with
SC.
USC. And I was a big Vince Young fan at the time. I really thought he was going to pan out, but just, mentally, he just couldn't hack it really. But him being in the top 10 just based off of that one season kind of surprised me. And, you brought up Diego Pavia. They had him at 36.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. They had him
no shot.
They had him at 36, sandwiched between Michael Penix Jr. and Sexy Rexy Grossman. and like they had Colin Kaepernick at 38. It's just like, nobody talked about Colin Kaepernick when he was in college at Nevada. Nobody talked about him at all until he, started to do stuff with the 49ers.
I'm also surprised. So if we're going like best college football quarterback in the 2000s of all time, Tim Tebow deserves to be up there. All the guys at the top deserve to be up there, but I'm sorry, Andrew Luck at 19. Andrew Luck at Stanford. What has Stanford football done since Andrew Luck and David Shaw?
Nothing.
They've been absolutely irrelevant. So when you, to your point, when you're in the season, how much buzz did these guys get? How much were they must watch TV? It's just, you look back at these guys' college careers and it is fun. Like looking at this list, I highly encourage everyone on ESPN to go check it out. You got Manziel at 13, Colt McCoy at 12, T-Law at 11. It's, I wonder, to your point about Pavia, to your point about some of these guys being on the list now, like Fernando Mendoza's at 14. You wonder,
way too high.
You wonder if with the NIL money, with the amount of teams like Indiana this year, Indiana was a horrible college football program before the last 2 seasons. With the amount of money that these teams have to spend and college football evening out a little bit, you wonder if you would if they did this list in 10 years, you feel like the next 10 years, there'll be like quadruple the amount of quarterbacks that were on the first 15 years, because all the top teams anymore, if we're looking at college football, it's not concentrated. It used to be in the 14 playoff. If you were a 5-star recruit, you're going to Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, and maybe Oklahoma. And that was it. And maybe Notre Dame, if you're a running back or offensive lineman. So with the NIL collective and all these schools, and I mean, LSU, look at Lane Kiffin. They have $30 million per year to spend on talent. It's the downside and the pro side of college football spending, in that kids can leave at any time. They're breaking contracts left and right, and you feel like there's not a lot of continuity in college football. But that's also great, is that you don't have 4 teams running the sport. And if I'm a 5-star quarterback sitting on the bench at Ohio State, look at Joe Burrow. He goes to LSU and wins a national championship. That's what I'm digging about college football going into the future.
Well, because it's all changed. Because, the days of, Alabama having 5-star, quarterbacks just sitting on the bench waiting their turn to play 1 year and then go to the NFL, like, Tua and all those guys did, where they just sat there and waited for, Mac Jones waited for their 1 year to play. Now the kids just don't have the patience for it. If they get there, and, we have had this discussion with J.R. Tolver before on Aztecs pregame, to where, it used to be if you went to school and you didn't get to start, you'd go, oh, okay, I'm going to work, twice as hard this year. In the
it's like, I'm out.
And I'm going to get my thing. Yeah. And nowadays it's like you get there and you're like, you don't get to play as much as you think. And instead of just trying to work hard, you're just like, all right, I'm out of here and I'm just going to go someplace else. And if same thing happens, I'll just bolt again.
And it gets to the point we were talking about a little bit last hour. Curt Cignetti, head coach for Indiana, he's got a 2 salary bumps in the last 3 months. So we got a bump when the Penn State job came open mid-season, because a lot of people thought Cignetti was going to jump ship from Indiana to Penn State to go be a blue blood program. They gave him a pay bump. They win the national championship. Now he gets another pay bump. He's making over $13 million per year. It feels like the best thing to be right now is a middling to almost contending college football program head coach, where the threat of you leaving for bigger jobs is going to get you paid, because being one of these guys at the top, being a head coach at Penn State, Ohio State, USC, I mean, your head's on the chopping block every season.
Dude, Cignetti just took a page out of Dan Hurley's playbook. The way he fleeced the Lakers when he wanted that new deal at UConn, and 100%. Was like, hey, I might go coach the Lakers. There's no way in hell he was going to go coach the Lakers. He just did that as a leverage opportunity so he could get a new deal. And that's the same thing that Cignetti did. It's like, oh, you see that rumor that, people think I'm going to follow what's his name to Oakland, not Oakland. I'll stop saying that sometime this decade. Follow him to Vegas to, coach the Raiders. And it's just like, I don't see that happening. I think, that dude's going to be a god in the state of Indiana.
Right.
He has probably surpassed Bobby Knight now.
Totally.
Like sports coaching gods in Indiana. It's him and Gene Hackman.
There is, Urban Meyer got the biggest lesson there is. I said it earlier. When you're at Ohio State, you're the big man on campus. Everything runs through you. When you go to Jacksonville, if you think you're going to talk to the players the way you talk to Ohio State players, you are sorely mistaken. And that's why he burned out so badly in Jacksonville. All right. Final segment of the day. Brent Sperry, Sammy Long, we're staying with you. Coming up next, we're going to preview everything going on this weekend. We got SDFC, SDSU. We got the Lakers tonight on the station, all in action on San Diego Sports 760. We're getting into it all next, live on the iHeartRadio app.
And we're going to have Aztecs Utah State tickets to give away. So listen.
All right, coming up back right on San Diego Sports 760, filling in for John Schaefer, who is en route to Colorado to call San Diego State. Colorado State, a big matchup. They trying to get out for that loss after Grand Canyon the other night. Brent Sperry, Sammy Long filling in here. We have a very special guest who has been roaming the iHeart Studios. Darren Smith, how you doing, man?
Great. I'm roaming the iHeart Studios and offices. I've become a full-time engineer as well, or just what I want to do with my Fridays.
Mike's got you engineering back there?
Back and forth to Snapdragon Stadium to make sure the lines are working. Tomorrow for SDFC for their MLS opener that you can listen to right here on San Diego Sports 760. The pregame show starts at 7 o'clock and kickoff just past 7:30.
So we talked to Pablo Cisniega earlier.
What a dude.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
What a guy.
So, I mean, starting off the season, Darren, you can speak this better than anyone. I mean, last year completely surpassed expectations, the entire team going to the Final Four in the Western Conference. I don't think too many people thought that was going to be plausible. But this year, where do you think that they can improve upon to kind of get over the hump?
The way it was said to me yesterday is last year was about the foundation. This year's about the details, right? So a lot of those details perhaps that got a bit overlooked because of this unprecedented success for an expansion club, et cetera, and the energy and the vibes at Snapdragon Stadium. So I think it's about fine-tuning what it was that they did, because they said even in really good performances, there were things that they felt like they could have done better. So it's just about getting better. It's just about how you continue to grow, how you continue to they'll have more than 50% of their roster this year, which is crazy. That's going to be 22 or younger. So it's about bringing younger people in, and just building really, not only in terms of quality on the field itself, but also just in terms of what you represent as a club and all that other sort of stuff.
What should we be looking for tomorrow against Montreal? Like what do they bring to the table? Which
it's hard to know, dude. It's really hard to know. They have like 7 new players that might be in the starting 11. So has anybody really seen them play? Do we really know? You kind of have a tactical approach from their coach who was there last year, but they're new players. So it's tricky. I think it's kind of similar to where SDFC was last year, right? Like everybody's like, yeah, SDFC. Okay, great. It's this established program. It's this great commodity. Everybody. And it's like they're expected to win, kind of like the Galaxy, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes SDFC. Montreal's not been good. It's kind of crazy what they have to go through. They play all these games away from home to start the season because it's 23 and snowing in Montreal. But I'm sure that they are looking at this going, hey, if we can pick off the winner of the Western Conference during the regular season, that's a great tone setter for us. So, you've been preparing for it for weeks. So I'm sure that they're thinking this is the way we're going to turn our entire club around with a win in San Diego against the team that everybody knows was really good last year.
Right now, we're talking about earlier. It's kind of amazing how for SDFC in an inaugural season to have the success they had, despite, Olaski leaves midseason. You got the whole Chucky situation down the stretch that could have folded a lot of teams, but B, a lot of teams in their inaugural season to start, not having kind of that foundation to fall back on. It's just a testament to SDFC that they were able to kind of sustain all those things and yet still put a winning product on the field.
Yeah, there's a lot of us, and I'll raise my hand too. A lot of us, even those of us that are really close to it, who you're like, oh, okay. So got out of the gate strong. Nobody really knew what they were about. Okay, now this is when it's going to, now this is. And they just continue to pass every test, even to start the season, going and winning and advancing in CONCACAF Champions Cup against Pumas. Yeah. You're like, well, listen, you'll understand if they're not going to be able to perform. They haven't had any preseason, and they got through that round. So this club just continues to surprise you. Every opportunity, every challenge that it sees, it's up for it. And I love that about them.
Well, Darren, I do have to, before we let you go, I got to ask you about your New York Knicks. So last night.
About the Johnnies?
What? Where are we at? Is this the Knicks year to lose? Are they going to get past Detroit finally, or what's going on?
Not great results against Detroit. We've taken a whooping against Detroit for sure. But it's the East. It's the East, and it's still kind of crazy wide open. So maybe you don't even have to face them somewhere down the stretch, which I would be okay with. I don't find any valor in saying, well, you've got to get through. Yeah, I should be fine letting somebody pick Detroit off. Let Boston pick them
I
off.
will say the fact that you guys beat the Pistons last year, it feels like they've been gunning for New York in the regular season.
So
I do
good.
think it could change over the course of a 7-game series where it's
so
not
talented though. There's so much talent.
Yeah, Kate Cunningham's unbelievable.
It's incredible. Right. Yeah. I mean, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I think even just looking at some of the faces on the bench, like body language was not just the body language from, hey, we took a beating during a regular season game again.
Totally. Darren, you're the best, man. Brent, you're the best. Tomorrow, 7:30, SEFC taking on Montreal. Hear the game right here on San Diego Sports 760. You hear Darren, Adrian Garcia Marquez. Pregame at 6:30?
Pregame at 7.
Pregame at 7. Perfect. All right. And then we got Aztecs tomorrow, midday, taking on Colorado State. Schaefer will be on the call starting at 3. And Fletch will get you going pregame starting at 2.
If you want Aztecs Utah State tickets for next week, call 877-767-4760. Be caller 7.
Be caller 7. We will send you to the game. Coming back on Monday, John Schaefer. Thank you for allowing us to fill in for an hour of your day. See you.